Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and we are live. We're going to be talking a little bit about Brandon Aiyuk today just because it's the biggest thing going on right now around the National Football League. The 49ers star wide receiver has decided that, you know what, I'm looking for a trade. I will admit, though, just because he asked for a trade doesn't mean one's going to go down. Deebo Samuel, the exact same thing happened to him. So coming up here on today's show, we'll talk a little bit about Brandon Aiyuk, and literally at the moment that I am ready to go live right now, we have a statement from Davante Adams' agent that says this. It's from Kenny Chapman and Frank Bauer, according to Adam Schefter, that said, the recent trade talk surrounding their client, Davante Adams, is baseless, unfounded speculation, and Davante is expected to be with the Raiders as there's absolutely no trade talk. This literally just happened as we were going live, just because there's been so much talk from, Aaron Rodgers, from Boomer Esiason, from Dan Orlovsky, and everybody's like, oh, I think Davante Adams is going to get traded. Bottom line is this. We know Davante wants to be a part of the Raiders. And there has been literally nothing besides stupid speculation from people that have no idea what is going on with this situation around Davante. So here you go. From Adam Schefter, Davante Adams is not getting traded. He's not going anywhere. For the love of God, can we just please end these trade conversations? And you know what? I want your one-word reaction down below to the news of Davante and his agent speaking up saying that we're not getting traded, because my one-word reaction is hallelujah, because I'm so sick and tired of answering these questions. Davante ain't going anywhere, Chuggs.
He went full Wolf of Wall Street. He walked into the ESPN studios, he looked at them in the eyes, and he said, I'm not going effing anywhere. I'm not going anywhere.
I mean, do you think somebody could clip that 60-second part from our live and just put that as the short? Is that possible?
Probably, but it's probably a little bit more.
It's easier if I do it. All right,
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, so, guys, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go film a quick short here, and then when I get back, we'll kind of continue to talk about Brandon Aiyuk. We're going to continue to talk about here Davante Adams. I do have two segments on tap for y'all. We'll talk about the 53-man roster projection that I have for the Raiders right before training camp. Then we'll get into the Davante receiver series breakdown. But realistically, there's even a part of me where I'm like, do we just put in? Now, I'll be right back. I'm going to make this short.
All righty. Let me know your one-word reaction to Davante. No, Yoda, he did not catch a baseball yesterday at the Home Run Derby, but somebody in his section was wearing a glove. They were wearing a glove, so looks like I was right. Rebel, Chuggs, how is CFB 25? You almost lost to Colorado. I did. It was close. It was close. And, of course, Bobby, you can get a ahoy! I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm running on energy drink right now. I stayed up until 3 a.m. last night. UNT, my alma mater, North Texas. We are currently 10-0. We have the number, 40 recruiting class in the nation. Hopes are high. We're looking at possibly a college football playoff. So, and I'm telling you right now, I've had so much fun playing the game. Actually, I'll break the news before Mitch gets back. On Thursday, we're going to have a special. I'm going to be playing viewers in the new college football 2025 game. This is my gamer tag, JewEagle96. I made it whenever I was 8 years old. Don't judge me. If anyone beats me on Thursday, we're going to pay you $100. I want to play the best college football 2025 gamers that the Raiders Report fan base has to have. So I want to know, who's down to play me on Thursday in college football 2025? Let me know. Type me if you want to play me this Thursday. We're going to do an extended live. We're going to go early. We're going to break down some segments. We're going to do some a Madden sim, and then I'm going to get into playing some people on the new college football 2025 game. I'm so effing pumped. Let me know who would be down to one. I haven't done cross-platform yet, so we'll have to cross that bridge when we get there. But obviously, you have to have the game. You have to have a PS5. Let me know if you have those, if you want to play me. I see Aaron saying me. I see King Shah saying me. Laurel says me. Joshua says me. Manuel says show some love from Fresno. Big ups to Fresno, California. Christian says I have PS5. Let's run it. Add me, and we're going to do, if somebody beats me, we're going to pay you $100 on Thursday if you beat me online in college football 2025. I'm pumped. Like I said, I played it as soon as I got home last night till 3 in the morning. So probably a good 7 to 8 hour run playing the video game, getting used to it. Patrick B, I thought there was actual news. There was. We actually just broke it down. Patrick, Adam Schefter just reported this statement from Davante Adams agents Kenny Chapman and Frank Bauer regarding the recent trade talk around their client. This is baseless, unfounded speculation, and Davante is expected to be with the Raiders as there has been absolutely no trade talk, period. So that's piece one of the news. The other part of the news on today's show, this coming from Mike Garafolo earlier, source 49ers All-Pro wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk has officially requested a trade after an offseason of unsuccessful attempts to reach an extension. Despite a recent meeting, the Niners haven't been willing to engage in negotiations since May, so Aiyuk has respectfully asked out. Christian said, sent you a friend request. Let's get it, Christian. Obviously, I have my PS5 at the house. I'll have to bring it in on Thursday, but I'll look and see who adds me tonight, and we'll get it popping. I'm excited to play some of y'all. Christian, hopefully we can play on Thursday. But yeah, this came out earlier today. That's our 49ers. A couple other channels went live with Steelers and Commanders have been heavily rumored to be in on Brandon Aiyuk. But the reports are Brandon Aiyuk is asking for a trade. The Niners are saying we're not going to trade you and we're not going to pay you. So what are they going to do? What are they going to do? I'm going to ask y'all this question. Where will Aiyuk play in 2024? Germ Dude says, what's your PlayStation Network fam? I'll get you. I'll get you in a second, Germ Dude. But first, answer today's question. Where will Aiyuk play in 2024? Do you think he's going to stay with the 49ers? Maybe a Steeler, Commander, Patriot, Jags, Bills? All teams that are kind of being rumored to be in on a wide receiver right now. Where the Raiders were mentioned by some of Aiyuk's friends whenever the trade rumors kind of just started at the beginning of the offseason because he has the ties with Antonio Pierce, former player at Arizona State. I see Commanders, Patriots, Chiefs, Steelers, Raiders. Let's see. Super chat coming in from Drew. Let me get y'all right really quick. Drew says, trade Davante to the New York Jets and get Aiyuk to the Raiders. You really think that would be a good idea? I mean, yes, Aiyuk is younger. But I don't agree with this. I'd rather have Davante. He's proven that he's really loyal to this organization with all the stuff that's already gone through. Do you really want to get a guy in Brandon Aiyuk who already is requesting a trade out of the place he's at right now and wants a hefty new contract? I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, and if you trade Davante, you're going to want a couple first, but what are you going to have to trade for Aiyuk? They'd have to be around equal compensation of trades, so you're basically getting Aiyuk for Davante at that point. I don't know if I want that. What do y'all say? Would y'all want to do this? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know down in the comment section. Would you rather have Aiyuk than Davante? I'm keeping Davante. I'd rather have him. I know he's older. I know this, that, and the other, but I'm keeping Davante. What say y'all? Rebel said tuck rule. Hey, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Tuck that. No. And this isn't me Drew's a real one, so don't get mad at him. Yeah, Drew said don't. Just the messenger. Hey, all love here. All love here. Drew, appreciate the super chat. Drew's a real one, so be cool. I'm just asking the question. Would you want Davante or Aiyuk? Eric says this season Adams is better, but long run it would be better. He said in the long run it'd be better to trade for him. I don't know. I'm just not sure. I think if a team trades for Aiyuk, I could see it being the Steelers. I could possibly seeing it be the Buffalo Bills. I could possibly seeing it be the New England Patriots. Those are the three teams I think are most heavily in on a Brandon Aiyuk trade. Also the Commanders. I was kind of getting into a debate with one of my coworkers earlier saying, if I'm the 49ers, I do not want to trade him to another NFC team, and especially the Commanders. And this is why. The Commanders have a brand new quarterback, a brand new coach. A lot of hope, a lot of stuff going on, and he was like, oh, the Commanders aren't a good team, though. The Texans weren't a good team 2 years ago. And now, look where they're at. So if you add Brandon Aiyuk to another team in the NFC like the Commanders, could that be like a missing piece for them to potentially make a run in the NFC and, cause you some trouble down the line in the playoffs? Because the NFC right now looks definitely weaker than the AFC. So I don't want to strengthen any teams in the NFC if I can help it. I'd rather trade him to an AFC team like the Bills, like the Patriots, like the Steelers. Keep him out of the NFC, in my opinion. I don't want to help the Commanders at all. They already have a brand new quarterback in Jaden Daniels. I'm not trying to help that team along at all if I'm the San Francisco 49ers. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but that's just me. We also have some more hashtag Raiders coming in. Noah Santana said, DA wants to win, BA wants the money. Easy decision, DA all the way. Hashtag the Raider way. And, I kind of feel that too. You have a guy in Davante who wants to be a Raider. He's exclaimed multiple times that he wants to be in Las Vegas. This is where he wants to be. He wants to win with this team. A guy like that in the locker room, if you take that away, you're taking a leader away from this team. You're taking mentorship away from some of these younger guys on your squad, like a Trey Tucker, like a Michael Mayer, like a Brock Bowers. So there's pros and cons to it. There's definitely pros and cons to it. Like Mitch said, coming up later on the show on live, a 53-man roster projection right before training camp starts. We react to episode 5 of Netflix's The Receiver and a Raiders Report mailbag. So get those questions in using hashtag Raiders or Super Chat. You've seen me pull up the questions over the past 15 minutes. If you want to get on our mailbag later on in today's show, it's wide open. Use hashtag Raiders or Super Chat to get your question in today. That's going to be at the very end of today's live show. We got you covered. I saw somebody said, shout out to Fresno earlier. So I want to know, where are you watching from today? We have over 300 people in the live chat rocking and rolling with us today. I see Sienna, I see Noah, I see Jason, I see Can't Get Right. I saw Can't Walk earlier. Let me know, where are you watching from? I got somebody in the 808. We got Stockton. We got San Diego. We got Vegas. We got Hawaii. What's good, Raider Rob? We got Aurora, Colorado, Boston. Electric Sports from Boston. You know Allie Barefoot. Corpus Christi, Vegas. We got New Mexico. We got Nebraska. We got Porterville, California. We got River Danville. Wait. River Dan Sideville, Pennsylvania. Shout out to Richie Renz, Papa Renz in the chat today. We got the 540. We got Royce City. We got Mesquite, Nevada. We have Los Angeles, Springfield, Missouri, Colorado, Fresno County, Bloomington, all rocking and rolling in the chat with us as our fearless leader, Mitchell Renz.
It just took forever.
Returned.
The Wi-Fi here sucks. I just couldn't get anything to load. It was taking forever.
Wi-Fi is the worst.
I agree with that. We're back here. We're going to be talking about Brandon Aiyuk, Davante Adams. Again, the big things that happened today in the NFL. Brandon Aiyuk requested to be traded. Davante Adams' agents just spoke out and they came out and said that all the trade rumors are baseless, unfounded speculation. He's going to be a Raider. So I know that a lot of people don't really think that the Raiders are going to trade for Brandon Aiyuk, though I look right now at our live poll. For those of you that haven't already voted on it yet, please make sure you do so. There's over 500 people right there. 42% of the people are saying other. Like, for me personally, I don't think that it does make sense for the Raiders to trade for Brandon Aiyuk. I will admit, and I saw somebody earlier saying, like, why would Aiyuk want to come to the Raiders? Money. Like, the only reason why Aiyuk is not happy in his current situation is because he wants the money aspect side of it. I actually don't even think he cares about winning and losing right now. He wants to go get his bag at a young age, and I don't necessarily blame him. I think he's one of the most underappreciated, underutilized receivers in the NFL.
We see it all the time with guys. They have some breakout seasons on a rookie contract. Maybe the last year or two of their deal, something happens, they get injured or something, and it could cost you millions of dollars.
Yeah, and it really truly could. Like, the 49ers, apparently don't want to give him like 27 mil. He's probably looking for a little bit even higher than that amount, considering some of the contract offers that we've seen this offseason.
A.J. Brown got 32.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Brandon Aiyuk, I walk in there and I go, I want $32 million. Like, and if you're the 49ers, right now is their Super Bowl window, you kind of almost have to pay him that type of money, or else you're going to lose a really, really big receiver. And I think one of the things that would happen to the Niners, and I know that Ayuk's not Deebo Samuel, that they use players very differently. To be honest, I think Brandon Aiyuk is a better receiver than Deebo Samuel. But in the Netflix series, and it kind of helps me, and a lot of people, it's like a reminder, when they lost Deebo, they were 5-0. They lost 3 straight games. Like, right now is your Super Bowl window. You got to be able to go out there and get it done. To me, though, I think he ends up on Pittsburgh. I think he ends up with the Commanders. Those two teams are going to try to do everything they can to pay him.
I was talking about my conversation with Roley earlier. Do you think I was overthinking it, or do you agree with me that if you're the 49ers, you trade him out of the conference? You trade him to an AFC team? Because I said, if I'm the 49ers, I do not want to trade him to the Commanders because, kind of like the Texans, they were bad last year, but they have a brand new coach. They have a brand new quarterback they drafted in the top 3.
Sure.
You're adding somebody to that to kind of excel their, rebuild, quote unquote. It's another team in the NFC that you could possibly be facing later on down the road in the playoffs. If I'm the 49ers, I see the NFC, it's weak. Besides us, the Lions, and then the Eagles or Cowboys, whatever happens with them.
I don't disagree with that. I think if you're the 49ers, though, and you legitimately are like, I'm not going to pay a player that is going to help us go to the Super Bowl, then you're just so confident in your team that maybe it doesn't matter and you're just going to try to look to recoup as much as you humanly possibly can. But I do hear you. It kind of reminds me when Tyreek Hill was traded, and I was like, oh, wow, he's traded, and they're going to keep him inside the AFC. I just think that there was a big issue, and instead of it, snowballing and turning into a bigger issue, the Chiefs were like, you know what, we got to get the most out of it, because I do think that there's going to be teams that offer, if it's Commanders say, hey, I'll give you a first-round pick and a third-round pick, and then you got the Steelers on the other hand, and they're like, hey, all I'm going to do is offer you a second-rounder. If you're the 49ers, you're probably still going to go take that first-round pick.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see. There's still a lot of unknowns out there. I would say that the bigger cause for concern with the Commanders, with the Niners, is your old former GM is now the GM of the Commanders, which maybe that helps getting a deal done. Maybe it doesn't, but that's what I actually think would concern the Niners more of. This is a guy who we've built to do it the right way. Now he's with this organization. Is that somebody that we want to send over there?
And that's what I'm saying.
Quinn.
You have a guy who was a part of your organization, who was a highly regarded, person in the front office of your organization. I don't want to help rebuild another team in the NFC. I don't want another threat in the NFC. I don't want it to be any stronger than it is right now.
Yeah. No, you're right. But then again, the AFC is super, super strong already, so
that's what I'm saying. Send them over there, make another team really good in the AFC.
I don't know if I want that. He could stay in the NFC unless he wants to come play for the Raiders. But I hear you. The reason, though, I don't mean to cut you off. The reason why we are going to talk a lot about Aiyuk is just because it has been, circulated out there before that, some of Aiyuk's, I want to say, girlfriend was like the idea of him playing for the Raiders. This also was a lot, before the NFL draft, before there was a chance for us to get Jaden Daniels. There was a really good relationship there. There's a lot of connections there. But then also it's the connection between Antonio Pierce, Brandon Aiyuk, and now we have Marvin Lewis. So there's a lot of connections there. I'll admit, Aiyuk to the Raiders doesn't make sense when you look at the team. But we've said that multiple times. We said that Davante Adams trade's never going to happen. That one ended up going down. But, I think it's the connection with Aiyuk and Antonio Pierce, which is why we're talking about it today, and that's why it's going to get talked about.
This would be awful.
What? BA might go to the Chargers. Yahoo said that. I think the Chargers will be a team that could show a little bit of interest, but here's the other side of that. The only reason why I'll say no is because you got Jim Harbaugh there right now. And I actually don't know if a receiver like Aiyuk is going to necessarily fit what that Chargers team wants to do, because I know that they have Justin Herbert, but I still think that that's going to be a run-first team. I think that they're going to want to try to run the football. Obviously, they're going to rely on Herbert, a little bit of play action. Aiyuk would be bad there. For us, that would be one of the worst-case scenarios. I think I just don't want him to go to the Chiefs, to be honest. As long as he don't end up in Kansas City, I think I'd be happy.
Noah, #Raiders, how good are you at the game? Rate from 0 to 100. So I actually have only played the CPU so far. I haven't played online. I wanted to get used to the game, kind of
Did you tell him what we're doing tomorrow?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I would say 0 to 100. I play on the second hardest difficulty. There's Heisman and there's All-American. I play on All-American, and last night I was beating teams 63 to 20.
Okay. That's pretty good.
So I would say 0 to 100. I'm probably an 88.
So I saw this question down below, and again, we will be doing a mailbag today, so please get those #Raiders in. Make sure you guys super chat also if you want to get those questions, comments on the show. We are always 5 bangs away from turning this thing into a shit show, and to be honest, I'm kind of down to get down today if you guys want to get down. I also saw a question from Sienna, which shout out to Sienna. She won our Raiders-Cowboys preseason ticket giveaways. I was at the Home Run Derby yesterday, Chuggs, and I got this bat, which I'll tell you a story of how the lady sold me this bat, and we could fill it up with beer, by the way. The national anthem last night. Sienna asked, how bad was the national anthem? The national anthem was so bad in person, it was, I think, 10 times worse than what you guys heard on TV. Because for anybody that's ever been in that stadium, and again, I've heard it a few times today, the acoustics in that stadium are actually pretty bad to begin with on top of that. And then when you added her singing or whatever that was, I feel bad now. I actually feel, for those of you that haven't heard the story, the girl that sang the national anthem yesterday at the Home Run Derby came out and said that she was drunk last night and checked herself into a facility. Now it has actually turned into a sad story. But then again, last night, we're sitting there and you're listening to it. And as it's happening, and it's kind of funny, I'm not going to out him. One of the guys here who I went to the Home Run Derby with last night looked at us, and again, it's halfway through the national anthem, and usually when the national anthem's playing, I'm a big, shut up, let it play, don't talk to me, it's the national anthem. Take off your hat, be respectful. The amount of people that were does anybody else hear what's going on right now? People were looking around and is she, it was so bad that we were wondering if it was a joke, if she was making a joke out of it. I mean, it was hard to listen to, man. There was even players, because they would show on the Jumbotron, they would show players. And there was a few players, again, I'm not going to out them, I'm sure you can Google it, were smirking, laughing. And I mean, they were people were looking around what am I listening to? So to a point where they stopped showing people's reactions and players' reactions on the Jumbotron, they just focused on
just
her.
go to the flag, go to the flag, go to the flag.
No, seriously, there was panic. There was panic. It was unbelievable.
At a certain part, you're just waving flag. Just go to the waving flag.
Dude, it was not good. For those that don't know, though, I know Chuggs talked about it. I wasn't here. I was filming a short. Again, Davante Adams' agents came out and said that all the trade talks surrounding their client are just BS at this point. The way that we're going to do this is on Thursday, we usually do Friday happy hour. We're off on Friday just because we're doing what's known as Chat Sports Holiday. It's kind of all of our guys here getting ready for the season, which, crazy enough, 16 days away from Bears-Texans' first preseason game. So, football season's right around the corner. But Chuggs and I, we're going to go live on Thursday. And the plan is to go live at noon Eastern time, okay? So 11 o'clock our time. It's going to be an early morning. and we're going to be live for like 5 hours, maybe 4 or 5 hours or so. And if anybody wants to challenge Chuggs on the new NCAA football game, it's free to add him. His name, and I can't make this up, Jew Eagle 96. Okay,
You should ask Petey his name.
I don't want to ask Petey his name. Jew Eagle 96. If anybody beats Jeremy live on our show on Thursday, I'm going to send you $100 because I'm sick of hearing you can't get beat. I'm rooting for the nation, and it doesn't cost anything to play against them. It's not a raffle. All you got to do is add them at Jew Eagle 96, and then we're going to ask people, who's here, who's watching, who wants to play against them? And then kind of the way that we do like a Madden sim, it's going to be one Raiders Report viewer against Jeremy in the new NCAA football game.
PS5.
PS5, and I want somebody to take him down. I'll pay $100 to do it. Honestly, if we get 4 or 5 games, you honestly don't think you're going to lose a single time?
No.
None. Could somebody humble this man? What's up, Buddy Bear? Happy Prime Day, Nation. Buddy Bear, I saw this earlier, and I said it to Chuggs. It gave me a good chuckle. Optimus Prime sacrificed himself so we could get discounts for Amazon. Thanks for repping my jersey. F. Tom, Fumble Brady. Buddy Bear, I'm not even kidding you. I swear to you, I wore your jersey today because of that comment that you put in the chat. Probably like 30, 40 minutes ago. I was like, oh, Buddy Bear's rocking with us today. I got to be rocking the Buddy Bear jersey. Got to come out, guns a-blazing, with the Buddy Bear jersey. R.I.P. to Prime.
My record so far in the game, I have not lost to the CPU. Now,
Really?
I'm on the second hardest difficulty. I'm not on Heisman yet because I just got it, so I want to kind of figure out the ins and outs of the game because it's different than Madden.
Yeah.
I will give them a lot of credit. It is
Raider
not
Prime. It's my day.
It is not a college football Madden game.
Okay.
It's a completely different animations, graphics, how you play. It's different.
It's that different?
The basics are the same.
I was listening to some people talk about it out there, and they were saying how much more difficult it is than what they expected. It's a lot more challenging to do other things that were a lot easier.
I'm not going to out these people in the office either, but 2 of our coworkers played yesterday, and one of them lost 65-7.
Yep. It's not good. It's not good, Tom. It's not good. What colleges are you playing with, Chuggs, from Siena?
I've only played as North Texas so far.
Sorry. So if somebody goes up against you tomorrow, or Thursday, excuse me, what's the rules? Because I don't think it's fair, or you're like, I'll play with North Texas and you can be Alabama.
If they play with I'll just match to wherever, if they have anybody besides a top 10 team, if they have a Power 5 team, if they have I don't know, Minnesota or Tennessee or Baylor or something like that. If they have a team like that, then I'll be North Texas. If they're a top 10 team, I'll play as Texas or another a better team to match up.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go North Texas against Alabama.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If it's a reasonable team, I'll play North Texas.
Can I pick your team?
Depending on the matchup.
I'll be reasonable. I'm not going to give you some shit show.
They have to be within 5 overall points of them.
They have to be within 5 overall points? All right. I know what team I want you to play with. There's a certain team that I just want to see how it goes. That's all.
Penn State.
I wouldn't mind seeing you play with Penn State. They're definitely up there on my list. They're not the number 1 team, though, that I want to see you play with. All right, y'all. So coming up here on today's show, let's get into our review here around Netflix receiver.
Also, this is the plan for Thursday as well. We're
Correct.
going live at noon Eastern time.
Yep.
The show's going to end around 6 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to do 2 segments, a Madden sim, and then we're going to play.
Think of it as 6 hours of happy hour. I'm not even kidding you.
Anywhere from 3 to 6 games of the new college football game.
5-minute quarters?
Yeah, depending on
how quick
it goes and how close we get to 6 p.m. Eastern time.
So then we'll also have segments in between the Madden games. So in a perfect world, Chuggs and I say, okay, we're going to start the show. We start the show and we talk around, we bullshit like we usually do. We've been bullshitting here for 30 minutes. We haven't really said or gotten into anything yet. Talk a little Raiders, ask some questions. and then he's going to play a game 1. After that first game, then we're going to get into a segment after that. After that segment after that, we'll get into another game, then do another segment, get another game, get in a little bit of Madden, and then it's happy hour. We got a 3-day weekend. I'm ready to let my hair down and get crazy. This is our plan for this upcoming Thursday.
I was going to say, do you want to do that, or do you want to do... Oh, yeah, I guess that might be easier.
What?
Because then we can set up the next person. I was going to say, do you want to do it between like that, or do you want to do the 2 segments off the bat, get those out of the way, Madden Sim, and then just play and mailbag the rest of the day?
We could do just about anything, to be honest. We'll see how quick it is, how easy it is. We'll play around with it. Bottom line is this. Thursday, I just want to hang out with y'all and have a good time. That's all I want. What?
Read the Can't Control Life.
Used to find Chuggs adorable, but NCAA got in his head. He's not the same anymore. I'm kind of with you. Chuggs has got a little Shador in him. You got a little Shador in you when it comes to NCAA right now. You went from being the guy that I root for to now being the everybody goes up against me, it's my Super Bowl. It's the Super Bowl.
Not for me. It's for them.
Exactly. You're 4-8, Chuggs. And look, Can't Control Life. He's got a little Shador in him right now.
I'm 10-0 right now.
He's got a little Shador in him right now. Y for yes, N for no. Jeremy Sanders.
Nando says Chuggs should have a punishment if he loses.
Motherfucker, should give me $100. No, we might be able to come up with something for Chuggs if he loses. Actually, you know what? I have your punishment. Every point that you lose by in a game, okay? Every point that you lose by, you owe me a lap in the Chat Sports office. If you're that confident, so if you lose by 20 points, you owe me 20 laps inside of here, and I'm going to record it.
Deal.
Or you can do reverse jumping jacks. Now, so we have, I would say what, a lap? A lap would probably take you 30 seconds. A Chat Sports lap. 30 seconds.
Probably.
Without trying to run anybody over. If you tried to do it like under 20, maybe. If every point that Chuggs loses by, he owes me a Chat Sports lap. So the way that goes is it's coming out of the studio here. He's got to run down the hall, which there's companies out there. He's got to go through the back door. He's got to run up this hall here. That's number 1. I'll record it. I'll put it on social media too. That way you guys can see it.
I'll do it.
I'll do it. Tajinos. Oh, dude. No. I'll tell you this right now. Taino, if you get down here, you can be the one that gives them the Eskimo kisses.
What would be worse? Eskimo kisses or butterfly kisses?
Eskimo.
You think so?
Well, what are butterfly? Is that what? Is that eyelash to eyelash or no?
You touch eyelash to eyelash. You go like this.
That's actually worse. I don't know why I was like, I know it's eyelash something. Though you're a Jew and I'm an Italian, so our noses are pretty big. Maybe it's easier. That would be easier to touch noses.
Oh, we could probably do it here if we just kind of lean in.
I'll tell you what, if we do that, I'm worried when something else touches. Coming up, we're going to talk about receiver, my reaction to episode 5. Then we're going to get into our 53-man projection before training camp. It's the final one before camp, so I wanted to have a little bit of fun with it.
That did happen earlier. Very sad.
Yeah, from Glenn.
Kobe's dad passed away.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw Miss Bryant. She had some comments on it too, which very sad situation, man. Life short. R.I.P. to Kobe's dad if you want to get some R.I.Ps down there. All right, Chuggy Bowl. I said we get into the very first segment coming up here on today's show. Bang rules are the normal bang rules. Every time somebody bangs, you get added to our July bang counter, which right now, Noah Santana's in first with 27. And LCA's got 22. Zon 14, Ira 13, Trivan 12.
Are you drinking out of the...
I'll tell you this today. If we turn this into a shit show, this holds, I want to say, 24 ounces. So I think it holds 2 beers. I'll hit some home runs today. We'll hit some dingers. I don't know what I'm going to do yet with it, but I'm down to hit some dingers today.
We'll hit some dingers.
Because Steelers went live today for the Brandon Aiyuk news. Our Browns channel went live just to go live today. Somebody sent in a $500 super chat over there. That was wild.
Yeah.
Petey was partying.
They call him Party Petey for a reason.
Petey's pals, the party guys.
Uh-huh.
All right, Chuggs.
Party poopin' Peters.
Say that again?
Party poopin' Peters.
Party poopin' Peters.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot to be able to digest. Also, I'll say this. Whoever gets in our duck race today, we're going to get in. We're going to do a $20 Venmo for a chance to win some money. Anybody that gets in for a duck race today, if you want to join our Zoom call tomorrow, we're going to do a call at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, so 5:30 Central my time. And it could be one person, 2, 5 people. We'll get as many as we possibly can. I won't be able to do a Zoom call next Wednesday just because of my bachelor party schedule. So this will be the last Zoom call we do for 2 weeks. So if you want a chance to get in, anybody that gets in our 50-50 raffle today, you're going to have a chance to win some money. If you've never been in one of our Zoom calls before, all I ask is that you also then send in, your email. That way I can invite you after today's live show. What's up, Matt? I need to put Chuggy Boy in his place on NCAA.
If you want to be first in line.
I'm not even kidding you, Matt. That's what I was going to say.
If you want to be one of the first people, go right now on your PS5, add me at JewEagle96. That's my PlayStation network tag. Go ahead and add me. Whenever I get home tonight, whenever I'm playing, I'll make sure to add everybody back. You got to be here on Thursday when we're playing and then say, hey, play me. I already added you. And I'm going to try to play people that I've already added to make it a little bit quicker.
Correct.
But you have to be here in the chat.
Correct. Yep. I mean, I'll tell you this right now. If Matthew Lozano, if you want to be one of the first people for a chance, because again, like Jeremy said, we're just going to look at everybody that's added them recently, and then it's going to be whoever's in the chat.
Raider Rob, I'm so glad you said that. What we're going to do on Thursday is with our duck races, we're going to do one for each game.
Yep.
And you're going to be able to choose either me or choose the person I'm playing.
Yep.
And only the people who chose the correct winner get a chance to win that duck race.
So that could also mean the pot's a lot bigger for you to chance to win some money. It could also mean that, hey, the pot's a little bit smaller. So we're going to have a lot of fun on Thursday. I hope you guys know that. I really, really do. And I hope that you guys decide to pull up. Oh, dude, it's going to be wild. And if somebody wins, we're gonna throw down here. We're gonna be partying.
How about this? If I make somebody quit, I also get 100.
No, what good does that do me? If you make somebody quit, my only fear with that is
I add one of my friends and I just get him to quit in the first quarter.
Well, no, you're not gonna get money. I would do like a beer bong or some reverse jumping jacks for you. I also don't know, I can remember as a kid, I haven't played in a while, where, the game would just, freeze or it would disconnect or something like that. And then you just got to quit the game anyway. So it's it depends. But I will admit, if it's a blowout, we might try to speed up the process here a little bit. Maybe, maybe not. All right, so add Jeremy if you guys could. In terms of the people that are getting in this duck race right now, I see this one looks like a new name.
Desert Raider, it is PS5. I play on the PS5.
Patrick Roche, hopefully I pronounced that right. You're in. And then Jason Goots. And then I see Charles G are the first 3 people that are in our duck race today here on the show.
Nando, if everything goes well, I don't see why not. We can maybe try it.
What?
He said, will you do the same thing when Madden 25 comes out?
You know what? This is a good test. The only problem with Madden is going to be who's the Raiders. Is nobody the Raiders? Are they off limits? Do we do the random? I think we have to do what you said. The random poison, whatever the hell it was.
Oh, I love that.
That's probably the only way to do it. NCAA doesn't quite work like that. At least I think so. Carter, Mitch, will you commentate the game? Yes. So the exact same way that we do for Madden, the exact same way that we do for an actual watch party, that's going to be me during the game. So Jeremy's going to be playing, the other person's going to be playing, and then it's just going to be us sitting up here just wild now talking about it. Type those 3s. Show me those TDs. We'll be making some deals, some who you gots. All the good stuff, man. All the good stuff. All right, I got Noah Santana, Can't Get Right, King Shab, Yoda Jenkins, Carter, Desert Raider, all showing up here in the chat. Reminder, we got 3 segments on tap for all of y'all. And if you could already start to use those hashtag Raiders, get some of these questions flowing in, we'll do it a little bit later on today's show. That'll be the final segment that we do. We're going to review episode 5 of the Receiver Netflix series with Davante Adams, which this one was an interesting episode from top to bottom because a lot of it also involved Justin Jefferson because of the Raiders-Vikings game that would have been week 14. So we'll kind of break that down. And then I like doing roster projections, especially before big events. So, Raiders roster projection after free agency, after the draft, after mini camp. And I'm going to do one before training camp, after training camp. But what's really going to be fun is we're going to be able to compare the differences of which players are in, which players are going to be potentially out. And we'll do it after the preseason. We'll do it all the way up to August 27th, 4 p.m. Eastern time, which is when the Raiders have to make their decision on which guys end up making this roster. So just keep that in mind. Got a few messages. You guys all good? Okay. Sounds good. All right, coming up, let's go. You ready?
I'm about ready. I'm just going to respond to one message real quick.
I got you. Subscribe to the Raiders Report if you like the Raiders from Electric Sports. You know what, Electric Sports? That's an electric statement. I like it. Can't Control Life. I don't think we have Venmo in Canada. Really? I don't have any Venmo in Canada? That's a thing?
I think they have VinMe.
Really? What'd you say?
They have VinMe.
VinMe. We have Venso. Or that's in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Can't get right. Maybe at some point. I see we got some 300 people here in the building. If you haven't yet, make sure that you guys click that like button. Believe it or not, it does help us out quite a bit. And then, reminder, if anybody does want to turn this into a shit show, you guys already know the deals. Every hundo we bang here on today's show, though I'm kind of down to hit some home runs today. And if we get 5 bangs, we turn it into a shit show, which yesterday we had 4. We had 4 bangs yesterday. We were 1 away from turning it into a shit show. It was close. And then if you guys want the first bang we get here on today's show, I'll tell you the story of how this happened. Because the lady at the Texas Rangers stadium
F'd you.
She did, man. She really did. I'm not happy with that woman. You know who you are. If you're watching, you know who you are. Unfortunately, it is what it is, though. Might have also been on me a little bit. She answered my question too literally, which, again, I don't know.
So you wanted her to answer it figuratively.
I did. I really did.
I
did. Coming up, let's talk about Netflix receiver with Davante Adams. Let's get it. Let's talk about episode 5 here of the Netflix series Receiver featuring Davante Adams. I'm Mitchell Renz, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up here on today's show, I'm going to go through this chronological order of episode 5 and just realistically illustrating everything that happened on the show around the Las Vegas receiver. My next breakdown of the series is going to be on Thursday when we go live. We're going to be breaking down episode 6. I always say this every show because at some point, I always see it down in the comments. This is going to be a spoiler alert. We are going to talk about the episode. So if you haven't seen it yet, it's all good. I also appreciate all the questions or all the comments that I've gotten on social media of people saying, you know what, Mitch, I've been following the show along with you. And really, if you want to do that, believe it or not, I would really appreciate it. So here we go. We're going to be rolling through the takeaways. And the episode 5 was the full breakdown here. Chuggs, man, it's all good, bro. So episode 5 was kind of where it got going a little bit, and it doesn't really get started until 12:15, which is when the Davante Adams part really gets it rolling. So I know sometimes people, when they turn it on, they tune in, they're like looking around to see, all right, when is the episode going to get going with Davante? It starts around 20:15. So if you want to get all the way up through it, and then you want to just get into the Davante Adams part. That's the 2015 part. Adams, then, I like this a lot because he's talking to an NBA ref, and I liked it because I can remember when the video went viral. Remember, like, the ref and Davante, they're passing the ball back and forth, and the ref was like, oh, I got seats. We're in this section over here. And Davante said it's going to be different now, and he's just talking about that it's going to be different now that Josh McDaniels is no longer there, Antonio Pierce there, and they're just a lot more fired up to go out there and play some football. Davante also went ahead and said, like, when you feel good, you go out there and that you play good, and he's just kind of talking to the camera, and it's more of just not so much like, they always say, like, when you look good, you're going to play good. For Davante, and I think he speaks on behalf of all of his teammates, of when you're frustrated just because of all the other bullshit that you're dealing with, maybe inside the locker room, your head coaches, you feel like you're wasting your time. Then when you finally deal with something like that, and then it's refreshing, the Raiders are starting to feel good as players because they feel like that they're not wasting their time with the cancer of Josh McDaniels. So now, like, they're going out there and they're playing a lot better. Now, if you feel good about this upcoming season, because Davante felt good about it last season, he feels good about Antonio Pierce, and if you feel good that AP this season, I'm ready to shock the world, and I want to do it together. Every single year, this show grows more and more and more. We got 170,000 subscribers. I can't wait for us to hit 200,000. To me, and I'm not even afraid to say this, I think the Raiders Report, we were a big reason why they fired Josh McDaniels when they did. One Raider fan is loud. 3 Raider fans is really loud. You get 170,000 Raider fans, which is what we're doing here. We're going to bring that energy. We could accomplish a lot of amazing things together. So if you want a voice and you want the loudest voice in Raiders talk, and it's plain and simple, we bring it here. Subscribe. We can create a voice together. We're going to keep it rolling here. The episode jumps then to Week 10, Sunday Night Football versus the New York Jets. And what I thought was interesting here was Davante kind of talked about him having a 4-hour dinner with Aaron Rodgers. And I do think a lot of the reasons that, like, the Davante Adams series is good on Netflix. Now there's been, like, a lot of trade rumors around him with Aaron Rodgers because I think people are seeing how bad it was last season with Jimmy Garoppolo, with Josh McDaniels. And today, right before we decided to go live here, Adams' agent came out, and according to Adam Schefter, had a really interesting statement, which, thank the Lord we can finally, like, silence some of these trade rumors. It said, statement from Davante Adams' agent, Kenny Chapman, and Frank Bauer regarding the recent trade talks around their client. This is baseless, unfounded speculation, and Davante is expected to be with the Raiders as there has been absolutely no trade talk, period. So can we stop talking about him going to the New York Jets, please, for the love of God? So then, one of the cool parts that I saw that I actually didn't remember, maybe I knew about it, maybe I didn't, I don't know. But AP shook the hand of every single Raiders player before the New York Jets game, and it kind of gave me some of that, like, Rich Bisaccia vibes. Remember when Bisaccia wrote those handwritten letters to all the players at the end of the year? Josh McDaniels would never do something like that. And I think when you get an interim guy, you have to do some of those little things to say, hey, I'm here now. You look at that man in the eyes and you shake the hand of Antonio Pierce, no doubt he's going to get his guys to play for him. So then it goes to the very first play, which of the Jets game, not of, like, the game, like, itself, but when they were showing it on Netflix. And it's Aiden O'Connell hitting Davante Adams for 42 yards. And it was one of those just, like, plays where I can remember when it happened in real life, because it was like, all right, is Davante finally going to get rolling? Because for a long time, not to his fault, it was just we couldn't get our offense going at all, man. It was really, really struggling. Next play then shows like a beautiful one-handed catch by Davante, and I mean, it just goes to show why he's one of the best in the biz. Then we get to the fourth quarter, and the other thing that this Netflix series did remind me of is like how bad the Raiders' offense was last season, even when Antonio Pierce took over, right? Like, yeah, the 63-point game against the Chargers was definitely an outlier, and it helped skew some of the stats. But when you really look at even like, the Jets game struggled quite a bit. The Dolphins game, bad. The Chiefs game, bad. The game leading up to the Vikings, bad. Like, a lot of bad offensive performances, and the score was tied 9-9 heading into the fourth quarter. And then AOC throws one up to Michael Mayer, and Chuggs and I both said this out loud. We were like, I forgot how amazing of a catch it was when Mayer just absolutely mossed the defender, brought it in. Raiders go up 16-9. They end up winning the game. But, like, the game and the play that I remember the most from that game, and I'm kind of mad that they didn't show Davante Adams' reaction, was Do you guys remember Robert Spillane's one-handed interception on Zach Wilson? A one-handed pick with a broken hand. Like, we didn't know if he was even going to play that game. I would have loved to see Davante's reaction, so I kind of think that they missed that one a little bit. After the game, after the Raiders win, Davante, he's in the locker room, and he's like ghost riding the whip. He's like bouncing around. He's letting his dreads rock. And like AP even said it in the episode. He's like, hey, he's like, bro, like, whip that hair around a little bit. You know, like he wanted his guys to have fun because they all come from that same cloth of, hey, we could be serious. But you know what? When it's come time to like get that shit done, AP's a big believer of, hey, we got to get that stuff done. And if we do, hey, let's celebrate here a little bit. Coming up next is going to be my favorite part of episode 5. And I promise y'all, for everybody that subscribes to the show, everybody that's a part of our live shows, what's about to be talked about, Jeremy and I will get on the show. I don't know how, Chuggs, but coming up, I'm going to tell you what my favorite part of episode 5 was and why I'm going to be determined to get it up here on the Raiders Report. If for you that don't know, we're going to be doing a Thursday special challenge show, okay? I'm going to pay anybody $100 that can beat Jeremy Chuggs in college football 2025 on PS5. If you don't got PS5, maybe you get one real quick. If you're like, Mitch, I do got a PS5, then I need you to add Jeremy. This is his name. I can't make it up. Jew Eagle 96. And I'm serious. We're going to do 5-minute quarters, and we're going to be live almost all day on Thursday. I got a bachelor party coming up, and I also have a 3-day weekend this weekend. Everybody does here at Chat Sports, so we're not going to be here for Friday happy hour. So you know what? I'm going to take Friday happy hour Thursday. We're going to put it together. The plan for Thursday is this. We will go live at noon Eastern time. The show ends at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So you're talking about a solid 6 hours of Raiders Report content on Thursday. And it's going to be Raiders Report viewers against Jeremy. So when we go live for our Madden Sims, for watch parties, I'm going to commentate, okay? I'm going to be the commentator, and it's going to be a real live game. There's going to be battles going on. There's going to be some shenanigans going down. We're still going to get Raiders segments in. We're going to do mailbags. We're going to do some conversation. We're going to do a Madden Sim against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Bottom line, it's going to be 6 hours of just hanging out on Thursday, and if anybody thinks that they can humble Jeremy Sanders is what I'm calling him. We got Shador over here. I'll give you $100 to take him down. All right, we're going to keep it rolling here on episode 5. My favorite part about episode 5 was Davante during the bye week trying out like all this like new Taco Bell food. And if you don't know, Davante has done a lot of stuff for Taco Bell. People have even asked him like, yo, do you actually have one in your house? Which he jokes about and says like, you know, obviously I don't have a Taco Bell in my house. But the 2 food items that he tries that I'm very intrigued by, and I will get them here up on the show. The first one is like a coffee churro chiller is what they end up calling it, and you can get it in, from what it looks like, a bunch of different flavors. He was trying that, and then the other thing that he tried was this Mountain Dew Baja Blast pie. It's kind of an interesting looking pie, and I can remember Davante saying like, you know, it's unbelievable how close it actually tastes to Mountain Dew and the Baja Blast. So if you had to pick one to try, okay, are you going to go with the Coffee Churro Chiller or the Baja Blast Pie? Let me know down below. You can type CCC or BBP.
I'm going with the Baja Blast Pie.
Really?
You gotta go with the Baja Blast Pie because I feel like the Coffee Churro Chiller, like there's already places that kind of do similar stuff with like churro, coffee, frappuccino type stuff. Give me the Baja Blast Pie.
I agree in the idea of trying it, but the thing that I think I would enjoy more is the Coffee Churro Chiller.
I could see that.
There's only one way to settle it. When Taco Bell comes out with these, we will get them up here on the show. We will give you guys an honest review of them, and we'll tell you when we're going to do it. That way you can enjoy the food with us, because after all, that's what this show here is all about. So then Tay says that the Taco Bell experience might have been one of the best experiences of the season. When he said that, I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then I was like, it's not great. Hey, I'm a foodie. I love me some food, but I don't really often say like, oh, Baja Blast Pie is the best part of my year. The show then jumps to Justin Jefferson getting ready to return for Week 14 up against the Las Vegas Raiders. I thought it was kind of lame that they just passed over, both like the Dolphins and the Chiefs game, but they were both losses, so maybe that would have made me a little bit happier anyway. Tay then just goes ahead and he's like watching a lot of film and he's on his iPad and he says that he's watching film every single day. And he's like, the only way that you're going to get better is if you keep like watching your own film over and over and over again. One of the funny things that I saw, and it kind of reminded me of like my fiance Alex when her and I watched something football related, and how often like I'll watch something and like I like to rewind it a lot, especially like if I watch film like on an NFL draft prospect or something like that. But I thought it was funny when Adams' wife, she kind of gets upset with him because of how many times he rewinds like the tape, and it's not like a long rewind. You know what I mean? Like it's like quick over and over and over and over rewind, so that way Davante can just see everything while she's just trying to watch the clip, right? Like, but it just goes to show how anal Davante can be and that's why he's as great as what he is, because if you're not at that level, like you can't separate yourself. Then I love Tay saying that, if your plan is messed up and you don't have a plan B, you're in trouble. So he talks about when he walks up to that line, he's got his initial plan. I think one of the reasons why Davante is so hard to cover is because, he gets in that phone booth there and he goes and he's off the line so quick and he's going left, right, straight. You don't know how to cover him. And if you cover him the correct way, he already knows what his plan B is, and then he can go and find an open spot. Maybe that's why he didn't get along with McDaniels, right? Davante said that he watches a lot of Justin Jefferson. And, I thought it was cool because Jefferson in the videos, I watch a lot of Davante Adams, and real recognize real. You know what I mean? To me, these are the two best receivers in the National Football League. No disrespect to Jamar Chase, might be the only other guy that I would even throw into this conversation here. Tyreek Hill also. But to me, I do think that most NFL GMs would consider Davante Adams and Justin Jefferson the two best wide receivers in the National Football League. So my question to the nation, and if any Vikings fans come across this video, hell, I'll ask you too, because the quarterback situation is pretty similar, where Justin Jefferson is dealing with either J.J. McCarthy or Sam Darnold. Davante Adams is dealing with either Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew, right? You can make an argument these are maybe the two worst quarterback rooms in the NFL. Also, you could throw in the Broncos in there. But who's going to have more receiving yards in 2024? If you think it's Davante Adams, I want you to type DA. If you think it's going to end up being Justin Jefferson, I want you to type JJ. The only reason why I'm going to say Justin Jefferson is because, one, I think that the Vikings defense is a little bit weaker than the Raiders, where the Raiders aren't going to have to pass, I think, as much as what Minnesota does. On top of that, Justin Jefferson may be a lot bigger of a target in that offense compared to Davante. The Raiders have a lot more skill position players than Minnesota does, and depending on how that whole Jordan Addison situation goes, Jefferson might be the only player that can even get targets at this point. Let's keep it rolling here on episode 5 of our review here of Netflix. It's time for week 14, Raiders, Vikings, and the Raiders at this point of the season are 5-7, which we know what happens just a few days later. That's, I'm guessing, what's going to be in episode 6. But Jefferson is hyped to be back after missing significant time. What was really cool about this episode was you got to see both sides of the field, where Vikings, Raiders, both of them are preparing. Both are getting ready to get this thing going. And then JJ makes an unbelievable catch on Amik Robertson. So Amik played really solid defense. Also, Amik, hopefully you're doing well, man. And Jefferson comes back to the football, kind of slides down, puts it right on him. Beautiful pass. Then the next play, which ends up happening, is Jefferson's running across the middle. And I can remember this one very clearly because he's got to really go up for the football. Marcus Epps comes sprinting in, hits him right in the side, and Jefferson ends up leaving the game. And I can remember when we were live on our watch party being like, what the hell happened to him? What ends up happening is he's on the sidelines and he's spitting up blood, and it ends up basically being like his lungs were swollen. And I'm not a doctor. You can see the exact what the clarification was, but that's a scary thing, that you're spitting up blood. You never want to see something like that. Also, it was 0-0 entering the fourth quarter. Do y'all remember how unbelievably frustrating this game was? This game and then the game where Derek Carr and the Raiders couldn't get across midfield when they played the Saints might have been two of the most frustrating offensive performances that I have ever seen. And then Adams, to our former OC, Bo Hardegree, was we're just trying to figure it out. Adams kept on saying that the offense was playing a lot better, that they were doing a lot better just because of, the offense was doing good, but it was the most frustrating game that he's ever been a part of, because what Minnesota did, and you got to give them a lot of credit, they tried to take him away. They were double teaming him. They were hitting him at the line, and as soon as Davante would get away from somebody, they had somebody right there. It was you're not going to beat us with Davante Adams. Sure, he had a few catches, but it did not go very far. But again, Davante said that their offense was playing a lot better than what the numbers showed, and that just kind of was part of the football game, and it was just one of those weird games. So Davante coming out and saying that the offense was better than what it showed was, just one of those things. And then it goes to this play, which This was a really, really difficult play just because it brought back a lot of bad memories. I was somebody that really wanted the Raiders to draft Ivan Pace Jr., linebacker out of Cincinnati, and I can remember being live on the show, and we were just like every round, you got to draft this guy, you got to draft this guy, you got to draft this guy. Obviously, he ends up falling out and ends up signing as a UDFA with Minnesota. But when he picked off Aiden O'Connell, he jumped in front of the route of Davante, and I found this stat to be pretty interesting. It was the 6th time all season that Davante, when targeted, led to an interception. That was actually one of the highest rates in the NFL last season, but it was also the last time that it happened the entire year. So you look at the final remainder of those games, week 15 on, that never happened again, which maybe that's Aiden getting a little bit more comfortable in this offense. And then the way that the episode 5 ends is Austin Hooper, he goes up to Davante, and he's just like, hey, man, keep your head up and just keep leading us. Because a lot of the players could tell that Davante was frustrated with the entire season, and that was the first time, or that was a 3-game losing streak. They're 5-8 on the season, and it's just kind of like, what the hell are we going with from here? So I want you to get out those red pens, and I want you to grade episode 5 of Receiver. Give it an A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know down below. My answer for this one is I'm going to give this one a C grade. And it was a good episode, but it wasn't even close to like episode 4, episode 3 for me. And it was good, Davante, but then also like the Jets game was a fun game to watch, especially when they got the dub and the Michael Mayer catch was electric. That Vikings game, though, was super frustrated. My favorite part of the episode was legitimately him trying out the food, and because of that, I decided to give this one a C grade. If you want to watch my other reviews on all of the episodes, we did 1 and 2 together because Davante wasn't in episode 1. If you want to see my episode 3 and episode 4 review of the Netflix show Receiver, featuring Davante Adams, all of those links are going to be available to y'all down in the comments, down in the description of today's show. All right, y'all, if you want to get those questions, comments rolling here, hashtag Raiders.
I'll cut off that first part.
Or super chat. Yeah, that's okay. At first, I saw it pop up on screen. I'm like, I don't think that's right.
Yeah, I checked the full ones and then stupidly didn't check the left.
It's all good. It's all good. It's going to happen from time to time.
My wife's husband doesn't let me use Netflix.
Really? Does he let you chill? That's the more concerning question there, Almighty Oakland.
Oh, here comes the NCAA bad guy.
Who?
Can't control life. It's like, oh, here comes the NCAA bad guy.
Oh, no. I mean, I am hoping that we have 4 really good games. And I'm actually curious to see how good you are. I am. I'm not going to lie. You've been hyping it up. I'm curious.
We need a matchup between Jeremy and Tom. Cowboys report versus Raiders report represent.
I do want to see a game against you and Tom. I don't think it'll happen on Thursday.
Good.
It could, but I don't think. I mean, maybe Tom's down. I know Tom's really, really good at that game, but he's also really good at the old one, which
he told me that he tried to play Heisman and he got waxed. I haven't tried playing Heisman. I play All American, which is the one right under it, and I was destroying the CPU. But I don't know. I haven't tried Heisman, so I don't know how hard it is. I think it would be a pick'em. Okay. I think it would either be like me -1, Tom -1. Okay. Would be the line.
Hey, it's
Are we playing in that case North Texas versus Miami of Ohio?
1000%. That will be the
Oh
matchup.
yeah, you'd have to. That I agree with. Jamari Murray, you sir are in, and then I see 93 Navman is in. Chuggs, I got to send you a quick message here.
Massage.
I mean, if you want one, this guy might be able to help you out. I think I pronounced that right. I think I spelt it right. One of them. One of the two. All right, y'all, we got 300 people here in the building. 300 people here in the building. Navman, we'll talk about that in a little. Well, the Christmas game, that's technically going to be in episode 6 review. We'll talk about that. I have to watch episode 6, but I already know what you're talking about, and I have the answer to it, just so you know. I have the answer to it. It's not a good answer. It's not going to be the answer that Raider Nation wants, but it is the truth. Also, This one's rolling in from Jamari Murray.
Bang!
Get out, ball.
Get up off that thing.
Back. Go.
Make sure you do better.
Jamari Murray with the first bang of the day.
Get up off of that.
I'm not going to lie, that felt good. Jamari Murray, he's probably sitting right there, dead red. Fastball, looking for it down the middle, hits it, connects deep. Jamari, you a righty or a lefty?
Jamari Murray.
When you're baseball swing.
Jamari Murray.
Let's not be weird here, Jamari. Let's not be weird here. Can't Get Right says, Murray shaking it up. We're 4 away from a shit show. That's all I know. Jamari and Noah Santana stepped up yesterday. My question is, who's going to step up for them? Somebody's got to step up for them. Somebody. Yikes.
Mando.
What's up, Mando?
Not a sponsor.
Not today, at least.
Not this one.
Correct. What's up, Mando? If the Raiders go 5-11, does Mark fire AP? I would say 1, what happened to the final game? 2, what? He got fired in week 17, according to Mando.
Yeah.
Are you saying like 5-12, 6-11? I actually don't think that Antonio Pierce gets fired this year. I would say the only way that it's even remotely possible is if the Raiders are like a dumpster fire. Like, if they are legitimately the worst team in the NFL and they finish with like a top 3 pick, then there's a chance. Like, I can't sit up here and say no. You know what I mean? Like, if they win 3 games, I might be sitting up here going like, I don't know if that was the right call. I would say the only way that they go 5-12, 6-11 is if multiple players on their defense get hurt and the quarterback play is even worse than what we expected. It's not going to be as bad as what it was last year. It literally can't be as bad as what it was last year. Like, I actually don't even think it's possible for our quarterbacks to play as bad as what they were last season. However, though, like, if they just can't get it done and it's really, really bad, I don't think AP gets fired. I would say that if they went with this record, he would get another year down the road. He'd get one more shot. AP's got 2 years from what I understand. Which college team would you play with to beat Chuggs for Thursday?
For Thursday. You keep on saying tomorrow.
I know I do. It's just stuck in my head. It's driving me nuts. It drives me up a wall. Chuggs, I'm going to switch my jerseys here real quick. If you could hold it down.
I will hold it down.
But I want to know, which college team would you play to beat Chuggs?
I had a feeling a lot of people would say Notre Dame. I know there's a big, intertwine of Notre Dame fans and Raider fans.
If anybody's Notre Dame, you got to be Penn State. That's like the rivalry I grew up with.
Okay. LSU from Sam, Bama from Jake, Irish from Navman. Peyton says Georgia. FSU from Duval Syndicate. Get up. See, like LSU, Bama, Georgia, I'd probably play Texas. FSU, maybe. I don't know how good they are in this game. Fresno State, Old Dominion, Old Dominion, I would play North Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
Stepping up to the plate. We got a batter up, okay? Jeremy, it's like a 2-1 count. First 2 pitches were fastballs. So 2-1 count. Maybe you're looking for something a little off speed. Maybe I'm a little bit buzz-o-matic right now. I don't know what it is. But I know this. The pitch is coming in right now. It's a hanging curveball. And Navman! Bang!
You never say the 93.
Because it's Navman.
93. 93. Man.
Bah! Get out, ball. Spit on that thing. Have you ever thrown a spitball?
No.
Never. Spitball
Dude,
guy.
This reminds me, like, the spit on that thing. Whenever I was in middle school, I was like 8th grade, maybe freshman year of high school.
I'm worried where this is
There
going.
was this song that was like, put it down on me, put it down on me. Down, down on me, put it down on me. I love the way she moves when she moves on me.
I think it's called Down on Me.
Yes.
And it's literally,
What the song's about, I'm guessing you, through context clues, can get what the song is implying.
Put It Down on Me. Who sang that song? Is it Jeremiah?
Maybe.
50 and Jeremiah. I can hear the song now, and it's like
Yes, by
50
Jeremiah.
and Jeremiah.
She can, or it's like, she wanted it. I can tell she wanted it. Want me to push up on it. Don't you know she put it on it?
Yes.
So
I like the way
my
she
mom-
put it down on me.
my
Dude, that's a
mom-
throwback.
My mom didn't, I guess she just didn't realize what the song was about or
Yeah.
anything. She loved that song, and she used to sing it all the time, like driving me around. 8th grade me, and I just like am just so embarrassed because I don't want to tell my mom like that I know what this song is about, or like do you know what this song is like saying? Because she just thought it was like down on me, put it down.
I mean, maybe. I mean, there's songs like that all the time. That also makes me think like your mom's like, oh, this song really makes me want to go to the candy shop. Like I'm just craving sweets right now.
Oh, the first thing I do whenever I go there is I grab a lollipop.
And I asked the waiter,
Can't control life.
does this melt in your mouth or your hand?
Can't control life says she knew. I don't know. I don't think she knew. Maybe I don't want her to know.
Yeah,
Maybe I didn't want her to know.
it's the innocence. I feel that. I hear you.
But I was just like always so embarrassed when she was playing it, listening to it, because I'm like, does she know what she's singing right now? Like, she's saying like, put it down on me.
Did she just say to the window, to the wall, to the sweat drops down her balls? All these skeet, skeet, skeet.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I'll say this. I love my mom dearly. I've never met Chuggs' mom, but my mom,
K-Rock said,
my mom's like,
why for yes, in for no? Do you think my mom knew? K-Rock says, Chuggs, your mom knew.
here's the thing. My mom, like, I don't know if my mom would know. Like
if she heard that song and she just thought it was catchy, she's like, down on me, put it down.
I have a picture, like, again, it's a little bit different, but it's also kind of like same, different. You guys know who Charles Haley is, right? NFL Hall of Famer, looks nothing like Tom Brady. I got a picture with Charles Haley, and I'm like, Ma, look, I got a picture with Tom Brady. And she was like, had no idea. Like, she thought it was Tom Brady. Like, you know, he's a 6'5" black guy. That's not Tom Brady. But, like, I think everybody would be like, oh, like, I know what Tom Brady looks like. Most people, right? My mom, not one of those people. I was like, hey, look, I met Tom Brady today. She responded with, tell him I said hi. It was Charles Haley. I mean, that's a true story. True story. All right, man. I want to get into this next segment coming up here. Shout out to Navman. Shout out to Jamari Murray. They're trying, Nation. I got to give them credit.
Everybody, I put Lucky Fan in timeout for today. He's being a meanie bunghole.
Oh, man. Hey, you know what they say? You are what you eat.
Lucky Fan, maybe you can come back another day, be a little bit nicer in the chat, unblock you, but for today, I'm sorry, buddy.
It's all good.
Hey, some people just need a timeout.
Honestly, that's all you need sometimes.
Reflection corner, maybe go, maybe
A little
ask
slap
yourself,
on the wrist.
You're like, why did I get put in timeout? Maybe it's a little self-reflection time.
I mean, he could also, based on the comments, I'm going to guess he's in middle school. I mean, usually.
I mean, maybe some adults need timeout.
Yes, that's true. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. All right, y'all, let's get into our next segment coming up here today. It's going to be on our 53-man roster projection. Also, reminder, if anybody wants to get in for our 50-50 raffle, as it stands right now, $20 Venmo, you would go home with, it looks like, $50 right now. Also, for anybody that wants to join our Zoom call tomorrow, if you enter in our duck race, and I don't already have your email, just send me your email in the comment section on Venmo. That way I can add you to our Zoom call. So if you want to get in, hey, there's your opportunity to do so right now. All right, Chuggs. You ready?
Oh, wow.
Juan, it was bad, man.
Same day as the Aiyuk news, 49ers from Aaron Wilson, I guess 10 minutes ago, 49ers placed Ricky Pearsall on the non-football injury list, their first-round wide receiver.
Yeah, I saw that. as well.
If he's not playing, there's no way they're trading Aiyuk.
I don't.
Because that's who they would want to replace him.
Sure. I think they drafted him because they did think that something was going to happen with Aiyuk. I think he's going to get traded at some point. Like, I don't believe that the 49ers are going to pay him. They're going to put, like, that puts you in kind of a difficult situation, I think. I don't even know if they have the money to do so. But then there's also the part of, if you're the Niners and you can make it work, like, your Super Bowl window is now.
Yeah.
Like, Purdy's on a cheap deal. I almost feel like you have to do something. We'll see. Okay, y'all. I want to get in. Let's talk here a little bit about the 53-man roster projection. Though, you care if let me go get a water real quick.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Go for it. Get some water. Can't Get Right said Led Zeppelin is the shit. Eric F., my mom's all-time favorite song was Super Freak by Rick James. She definitely knew what it was about. I played it at her memorial service. True story. Wow. That's legendary. That's legendary, Eric F. That's dope. He said, my mom's all-time favorite song was Super Freak by Rick James, which probably know what that song's about. She's super freaky. But he said, she knew what it was about, and I played it at her memorial service. True story. That's awesome.
I mean, I'll say this. If, obviously you know your mom. Like, my mom would want that. Like, my mom would be like, at her funeral, she's like, let's party. Like, let's have a good time. Like, that's how my mom would be. So I might steal that one. I might play Super Freak. That would be funny. That would be good, man. That'd be
a super freak. Super freak.
That would be pretty funny.
Freaky.
Oh, dude. Can't control life. Juan G, Yoda Jenkins, all rocking with us. Sienna, shout out to you as well for rocking with us here on the show. The next segment coming up here is going to be our 53-man roster projection, which I wanted to see how the roster looks now, like for me, if I were to project it at training camp, and then I'll do it right before, or probably right before the actual cut down dates go, and it'll be really fun to see the differences between both these rosters, because every time I've done this video, it's been different every single time. And there's one player that I've had make the roster, and I want to say all three of my 53s this offseason, and he's not in it this time. What?
I just have to put it up. Hold on.
Oh, hey, you're good.
Can you read this for me?
I don't know if I can or not. I'm not. We'll see. We'll see.
Wait.
Can't show or no? Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Yep, hold on.
Is he going to be able to do it?
Oh, there's a network error.
Oh, who is it?
It's Jake Serb.
The hashtag Raiders?
Yeah.
My friend asked me where my sister went on her vacation, and I said Alaska. He said, never mind, I'll ask myself. That's funny. I'll ask myself. Serb, that's a good one.
That's hilarious.
Serb, that's a good one. That's a clever one. Alaska. All right, fine. I'll ask him myself. That's good.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Mitch's 53-man roster projection. Oh, I didn't even realize 53 days away.
Technically, all right, so for all y'all watching live, it's 54 days away from the season, but when this video goes out, it'll go out tomorrow. It'll be 53 days. Okay? Just spoiler alert, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We're 53 days away from the Raiders being 1-0 and taking down the Chargers. I don't know about y'all. I can't wait for the Raiders regular season. If you're like me, smash that like button right now, because we're taking down the freaking Chargers, man. Coming up here on today's show, we're going to be doing a 53-man roster projection before training camp gets underway. I'm stoked to see the rookies out there this Sunday, the 21st. The veterans, they're going to report on the 23rd. And the Raiders are going to have to get their roster down to 53 players. Technically 54. You're going to be able to keep David Agoa, the International Pathway Program player, by August 27th. And I like being able to do these shows because it's really cool to see how the roster projection is now compared to when we do our last and final one right before that final cut down day. If you find yourself looking for training camp news and updates, we got you covered. I know a lot of people were asking me, Mitch, are the Raiders going to do joint practices this year? No joint practices. That's the reason why you subscribe. If you didn't know that information already, I promise you, we're going to have a lot of stuff here on this channel, videos every single day. So the way that we're going to do this is we're going to go through the depth charts, and then I'll tell you who ends up making the team, and the number that you see next to the player is me counting out the 53 players that end up making this roster. So let's first look at the quarterback depth chart. You got 4 guys here. You got Gardner Minshew, Aidan O'Connell, Anthony Brown Jr., and Carter Bradley. To me, the Raiders are going to end up keeping 3 QBs, and I will continuously say that I believe, based off some of the information that I've heard early on, Carter Bradley ends up making it over Anthony Brown just simply because of the offense that the Raiders are going to run this season. Bradley's going to be able to execute it the similar ways of Minshew and Aiden, where Anthony Brown could be another interesting quarterback to just keep on the practice squad. Let's go to the running back room now, because this is a backfield that is a little bit lackluster. Definitely has some to be what's desired. It's not a great room. But to me, this is going to be a room that ends up keeping 4. And when you look at special teams, you're going to have Dylan Laube, Amir Abdullah. They're also going to be a big part of that special teams group. I do also believe that Zamir White and Alexander Madison maybe get majority of the rushing touches between the tackles this upcoming season. But unfortunately for Brenton Brown, Sincere McCormick, and, I want to be able to keep Graf's guy McCormick, and I've had him actually in a past 53-man roster projected video. But to me, that this Raiders team, if they were going to go with 5 running backs based off information that I've received in just the last month, if they were to go with 5 backs, I think it's actually them adding another running back to this repertoire. Let's now go to the wide receiver room. And this is one of the more talented, loaded-up receiver rooms in the NFL. I will say for the 53-man roster projection video that I'm doing now, I did not consider Bowers a receiver. You will see him when we start talking about the tight end, so just food for thought there. I have the Raiders keeping 6 receivers, and very similar to what I said about the running back room, DJ Turner, Jalen Guyton, they have to be able to make some sort of impact on special teams for them to make this squad. I know that Turner has been very impressive, especially Tom McMahon has said that. And then Guyton, he was signed this offseason, but he also has his ties with Tom Telesco from their days back with the Los Angeles Chargers. Tight end room, and this one, obviously, I'm going to have Brock Bowers in. I think the Raiders have one of the best tight end rooms in the National Football League from top to bottom. And I know that we talk a lot about the top 2 guys in Bowers and Mayer, but if we're also going to sit up here and say how often that they're going to run a 2 tight end set and how often that Bowers is going to play in the slot, to me, you got to keep 4 tight ends. And the 4 tight ends that I see the Raiders keeping are the 3 people that were pictured, and then I believe that they're going to roll with Zach Gentry. John Samuel Schnenker, he's an interesting name, I'm not going to lie to y'all, because he did play a little bit of fullback at Auburn, and because the Raiders don't have a fullback, could be somebody to just keep in mind. I think they're going to end up going with Gentry. He's 6'8", he's the bigger red zone target, but John Samuel Schnenker, just, an interesting name to just keep an eye out for training camp to see how they use him. Now, it's time to go to the offensive line, and what's really fun here about the offensive line is you got Colton Miller, you got Jackson Powers-Johnson, Andre James, Dylan Parham, Thayer Munford. All of those players are going to be a lock to make it. Now, before I tell you who ends up making it for the offensive line, you can only keep one of these players. And when you go through and do a 53-man, a lot of times, like when you do it, you get to a point where you're like, I don't know how I have to cut one of these guys. And for me, this situation was this. I had to pick between Dalton Wagner and Chris Smith. Had to pick between one of these players. I was unable to keep both, so I want every single person that watches this video to answer this question here. It's going to be the pinned comment. Would you keep Dalton Wagner at offensive tackle, or would you keep Chris Smith at safety? Let me know down below. You're about to get hit with a YouTube ad break. I want you to scroll on down and give me your answer, because for me, my answer is going to be coming up in just a little bit. For the offensive line, I have the Raiders keeping Andres Pete. I have the Raiders keeping Cody Whitehair. I have the Raiders obviously keeping the rookie DJ Glaze. And if you're curious about how I would have answered that last question, I ended up sticking with Dalton Wagner on offensive line. And the reason why that I'm doing it right now is more just of insurance, because there is still uncertainty around Colton Miller. Now, I was told by Miller's camp that he is expected to be 100% ready to go by training camp, so it all should be good. But then again, if you're worried about injuries, Andres Pete's had plenty of injuries. Cody Whitehair's not getting any younger. And then you got Dalton Wagner to be able to just throw up there into that mix. You have 9 offensive linemen, and it just gives you a little bit more depth. And because if one of your tackles does go down, not that you're weak at tackle, but you're definitely lacking some of the extra depth that you're hoping for. Coming up next here on our 53-man roster projection before training camp, who are the players that I'm going to be keeping on the defensive side of the football? When I used to do this show, 53-man, I a lot of times would do it like, what is McDaniels going to do? What would Ziegler do? Now when I've been doing it, I'm doing it like, all right, I'm sitting down in the room with AP, with Tom Telesco, and we're trying to figure this out together and put the best product on the field, which is exactly what I believe that I have done today. So we do have a special live show on Thursday. For those of you that are watching this live right now, Chuggs and I are not going to be live on Friday. We have what's known as Chat Sports Holiday, and we're kind of just getting ready for the football season. But we're going to be live on Thursday, and I'm going to pay anybody $100 if they can beat Jeremy Chuggs in the new college football 2025 game. It's going to be on PS5, so if you got a PS5, awesome. Add Jeremy, Jew Eagle 96, and our Thursday plan is this. We're going to go live at noon Eastern time, so 6 hours of Raiders Report content. And the viewers that are watching the show, they're going to be able to play Chuggs in NCAA. And if you beat them, I'll give you $100. So hopefully you got Venmo. If not, hey, it might just be a dapper do, and congratulations. We're still going to do segments in between the Madden sims, just so you know, so it's still a little bit of Raiders content in there. I'm going to react to the game like I do for Madden and like I do for watch parties, which I think it'll be a lot of fun. We're also going to do a Madden sim up against the Jacksonville Jaguars on that for our Madden season. So if you got nothing going on Thursday, it's going to be a jam-packed show. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to see it there. And you know what? We might as well just call it. It's going to be Thursday happy hour for 6 hours. Let's go to the defensive side of the football now. Max Crosby, Malcolm Kuntz, Tyree Wilson. These are the no doubt guaranteed making this roster group. After that, it does get a little bit dicey. Reminder again, David Agoa, he's going to end up making the team because of the International Pathway Program rules. But you got some UDFAs in Stone and Gaynor. Then you got some other players in there, in Ellerson Smith, Charles Snowden, TJ Franklin's a UDFA as well. Here are the 4 people that I ended up keeping, and Agoa I'm not going to count because, again, you don't have to count him against your 53-man. I end up going with Janarius Robinson, and to me, at this point, the Raiders gave Robinson a 1-year, $965,000 contract, and yes, he dealt with that issue in the past, but just because nothing has happened yet, and because it's been months at this point, to me, he's going to end up making the team, or else why would you keep a player that's kind of been a little bit of an issue this offseason one time? And yes, it's only one time, but for the Raiders, the one time, the thing that he did is unacceptable to me at least. But the fact that he's still on this team tells me that their plan is to end up keeping him. Let's now go to the defensive tackle group here. And since I counted Tyree Wilson as a defensive end, I'm not going to count him here as a defensive tackle. So Christian Wilkins, John Jenkins, Adam Butler, these are the easy names that end up making this team. The next interesting name that I do find myself just putting on the list here is Byron Young, the 3rd rounder out of Alabama, getting ready to go into his 2nd year, and I'm kind of hoping that he's able to take that next step with the defensive line coach and Rob Leonard, with our defensive line in general. I also have the Raiders keeping Nesta Jade Silvera over Matthew Butler. He's got more of the ties with Antonio Pierce, and quite frankly, I just think he's a better fit for what we need. We need a bigger DT up the middle compared to Matthew Butler, who's a little bit more soft and really hasn't been able to show that he's able to stay healthy even this year, even last season. And when he's been on the field, it hasn't been good. So these end up being the 5 defensive tackles I'm keeping for the Raiders. If you don't know, we're doing a Raiders meetup Saturday, July 20th at 1 p.m. Here's the date. Here's the address, and we're going to be there for a few hours. Like, shit, I could be there 4 or 5 hours. I could be there 2 hours. Just depends how many people are going to be there. I've had a few people tell me that they're driving in from Oklahoma, that they're driving from a few hours away. It's going to be a fun event. It's going to be at a Matitos, which is like a Tex-Mex restaurant. You can go check it out. It's owned and operated by a Raiders fan, so we'll be able to get some good deals, have a good time. Football season's right around the corner. We made it through the dog days of the offseason. Let's have one fun day, some food, some drinks, and then it'll be time to talk some actual Raiders football because the following day is training camp, which the rookies are reporting. I'll also say there's a chance a Raiders player's family will be there. Let's go to the linebacker unit now. Divine Diablo, Robert Spillane, and Eichenberg. All 3 of those linebackers end up making this team. There's been reports out there that Luke Masterson's been the linebacker 3, so is he have the opportunity to sneak in and get that job done. Also, Darian Butler, he's got a lot of connections with Antonio Pierce. Kanai Mauga keeps on hanging around our rosters where he's just been on our practice squad. Hell, he was even on our regular roster a little bit at times last season. And then you got second-year guy Amari Burney from Florida, who's shown really good athlete, but he's a part of that old regime. So the 5 linebackers that I have the silver and black keeping are as follows, and I'm just going to go with the 5 best in my opinion. You got your top 2 dogs here. Luke Masterson deserves a lot more credit. He's played a lot better than what he gets credit for. Eichenberg was drafted, and then Burney's your special teams guy. Let's go to the cornerback room. It's going to be the room that I think a lot of people are staring at, especially during training camp, because there are just so many unanswered questions here. Nate Hobbs, Jack Jones, both of these guys are a lock. Outside of that, though, I can make some arguments of why you would cut certain players. Now, the Cameron Richardson, MJ Devonshire, I see the Raiders keeping all of their rookies this upcoming season. You got Jacorian Bennett as well. You're hoping he gets a little bit better. Brandon Faison needs to take that next step. And I don't think that the 6 names that I'm going to show you is going to surprise anybody because I don't really know any other 6 cornerback situations that we could go with here that would give the Raiders a lot of confidence. I'm still really, really hoping that we add another corner to this roster to make this a little bit better of a unit because there's some upside here, but there's still a lot of unknowns and a lot of question marks. And quite frankly, there's only 2 players that are even shown right now that I even have somewhat confidence in. Let's go to the safety room, and this was, a little bit heartbreaking, and you kind of already know the route I'm going to go because I ended up keeping Dalton Wagner, which means I have to end up, unfortunately, cutting Chris Smith. Jaden Grant's another player that continues to get some interesting hype this offseason, but I had to go 4 safeties, and I didn't love the fact that I had to cut Chris Smith, quite frankly. I think the reason why I did it is because I do think that our safety depth is a lot stronger than, that other tackle grouping that we would have needed. Now, sure, I could have maybe moved on from Jalen Guyton. Sure, I could have moved on from a DJ Turner. There was definitely other spots that I could have done, which it hurt, but to me, I can't figure out where Chris Smith is going to play, so because of that, I ended up keeping 4 safeties. Let's go now to special teams, and it's going to be Daniel Carlson, A.J. Cole, Jacob Bobenmoyer. That rounds out our 53-man, which we got some of the best special teamers in the entire business. To me, A.J. Cole's a top 2 punter. Daniel Carlson's a top 5 kicker in the league, and Bobenmoyer's a long snapper. They've been keeping him around, and, good for him. So who did I leave off my list? I know I had to have left somebody off that's going to tick somebody. It's just what it is, man. It's what it is. So who did I leave off my list? Let me know down below. And I wanted to just show you all my thought process when I did this 53-man. So it was, here's my last 5 in and my last 5 out. The guys on the left were the ones that just squeaked in, and they were able to get in. So Dalton Wagner was 52. Jalen Guyton was 51. Carter Bradley, 50. DJ Turner, and then Nesta Jade Silvera. On the other side, it went Chris Smith, Matthew Butler, Anthony Brown, Tulu Griffin, Ron Stone Jr. So it was kind of an interesting thing to look at from top to bottom, and I do think as training camp goes on, as the preseason goes on, you could potentially see some of that last 5 in, last 5 out. Definitely do some switching as the season goes down. Reminder, we will be live for every single preseason game. We're also going to be probably live right around when the cut deadline is. It's going to be August 27th. I don't want you to miss it. This is when the Raiders Report starts getting pretty wild here, when the actual football content gets rolling. We got one more segment coming up here on the show, and it's a mailbag. If you want your questions on Super Chat or use hashtag Raiders in order to be featured.
We definitely need more questions.
We do.
We definitely need more questions.
Got to get some more questions flowing in here. I see so far the only 2 people that have banged today is Jamari Murray, Robert, and then also we have a few people in our duck race, but not many. We $20 Venmo to get in the duck race right now. You'd win $50. And Jamari's got a chance. Goots has got a chance. Navman Charles G's got a chance. We got some good ones in there. Navman has got another one. So now winner gets $60 here on the show. This will be an interesting race, man. This one will be an interesting race, I think. How we feeling?
Feeling good.
When you get home today, is it instantly going to be? Instantly.
Instant.
That's funny. I I'm not going to lie. I've kind of thought about getting the game just because I've heard all of you guys talking about it so much, and Alex gets home from work
Do you
at
have a
like
PS5?
8:15. No.
That would be the other thing. You'd have to get a PS5.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd get a PS5. I am Team Xbox. I've always been Team Xbox. I have the Xbox 360. Can I play? I mean, if I could play my old Halo games on, because Alex also really likes Halo. Like Alex and I will play Halo against each other. Also, the game that we used to play a lot was Fusion Frenzy. So I've thought about buying that game.
Colin,
Colin's an Xbox guy.
quick question. Yeah, I think so. I think he told me yesterday he was. You're an Xbox guy?
I'd play Halo against
He has some Xbox questions.
Can I play like OG Halo games on like the new Xbox?
Technically can, because like there's some games that they like remastered for like the new Xbox. You would just have to like search it on the new Xbox or whatever.
Interesting.
Also, what was the other?
You could play some of the old Call of Duty games.
Fusion Frenzy.
I remember that game.
Fusion Frenzy was one of my favorite games as a kid.
If it's the one I remember.
It's just like random. Imagine like.
Yes, it was random game. Dude, the one where it's like you're going up the spiral thing and you have to either jump or go down.
Yes.
That
was one of my
fun.
favorite games, Fusion Frenzy. So like I've been like thinking about like buying that, and then that way Alex and I could play. But
Xbox are a lot cheaper than PS5s right now too.
well, it doesn't surprise me. I'm also like I feel like PS5 is for more serious gamers. Don't take offense to that, Cullen. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know.
I don't think Cullen thinks that he's a serious game. Like I would say more.
He's a serious. Look at that. I don't know.
He's recreational.
Recreational gamer. There you go. Chuggs is like
He had a little smirk when I said that. He's like, yeah.
He's a big recreational guy. You can tell. Cullen lives on the recreational. All right, y'all. I don't see anybody else getting in our duck race here, which means we'll get into our mailbag. Oh, that's Cap. Rustin Long, you in. Rustin Long, you in, my man.
Jaime, I agree.
What?
I agree.
You guys have PS5 or Xbox?
PS5's better.
Is it?
I like it better.
I think the other thing that I would struggle with, like when you talk, like I don't know any of the controls. Where Xbox, I still think I remember most of them.
Yeah. Gatorade. Water sucks. It really, really sucks.
Does it? Gator. What's your favorite Gatorade flavor?
Orange.
Really?
I like orange.
I'd say yellow. I love yellow. I think yellow Gatorade is the only yellow that I
think it
like.
goes, for me, it goes orange and then probably like the Glacier Freeze.
Yoda says grape. Blue from Can't Control. Adam Sandler. You know what I saw the other day? Was I looking at it with you? It was like there's a Facebook page for people that look like Adam Sandler.
Oh, you didn't tell me this.
No. So it randomly popped up on my social media, and there's like a Facebook page. If you guys don't believe me, look it up on Facebook. And it's a literal Facebook group of people that look like Adam Sandler join. And you have to get approved because you have to look like him to get in the group. It's unbelievable the amount of people that look like Adam Sandler. And when I say it's like kind of close, bro, it's if I were to see that person out in public, I'd be like, that's freaking Adam Sandler.
That's Tyree Wilson.
That's Tyree Wilson. Instantly. I mean, you knew instantly. Has anybody seen that Facebook group? If you haven't, you got to go check it out, man. If you haven't, you got to go check it out. All right, one more time here. Segment coming up is going to be a mailbag. And I would say just use maybe some of the old super chats that we got. What's the duck race up to for A&N? It is up to, I want to say, $70. Yep, 20 to get in, you'd win 70. Though if you sent in money, it'd get up to 80. Just something to keep in mind for the 50-50 raffle. We've had 2 bangs today. Tomorrow, every time somebody bangs, I think I'm going to fill this up and we're going to knock one back. Though I am going to get something Raiders and just paste it over that.
I have to disagree. I think the cucumber Gatorade is one of the worst.
I don't even remember it.
It's like the green, like cucumber lime Gatorade.
Oh. I don't know if I've ever had that one.
I just couldn't get down with it. I love cucumber water.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But the cucumber Gatorade, artificial cucumber just didn't taste right to me.
Yeah.
It's like how some people, like I like banana Laffy Taffy. I like the fake banana flavor.
Nope. I can't do it.
I love it.
I hate fake banana flavor. I think it tastes it's awful to me.
Like
Can't do it.
Like a banana snow cone, like half banana, half strawberry.
See, but then I say that, and I do like the banana Happy Dad. But it might just be because it's the only one that we don't ever have.
The only
I'm
time
so
I
sick of the
had
other
it,
ones.
the only time I had it was at Barcode, and Cody told me to get it a certain way where it was really good. It was like that, and then he put like banana liqueur in there.
Yeah, that was really good. But again, like to me, when I drink Happy Dads, I just think of work. Like I just think of how often we drink them at work, and I'm like, dude, it's kind of tough to get them
For
to
some
go
reason,
down.
we don't get the banana Happy Dads though.
Well, they don't sell them down here. Like
Yeah,
they only sell them like
No,
West
yeah, that's
Coast,
what I'm saying.
I
Like
think.
I don't know why they don't sell them.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, banana Laffy Taffy's top tier.
I have had banana flavored milk. Delicious. So there was this was like right when I moved down to Texas, I saw it being like shown, and it was like a banana powder. It was so good. I remember buying one. Now I don't think it was Nesquik or anything like that. I forget who it was. Very good. Very, very good. I also forget what I was going to say. Oh, I heard somebody, or I saw somebody say, Mitch, tell us the bat story. I said as soon as somebody would bang, I would tell you the bat story. So that was on me. So I go to the home run derby last night, which I'll also admit this. If I would have been in left field and I didn't bring my glove, it would have been a major L for me. I think every single person in the outfield had a glove. Like it was, you were right. I was wrong. I also wasn't in the outfield, so it was a little bit disappointing.
There we go.
You were right. If I ever go to another home run derby and I'm in the outfield, I'm bringing my glove.
I'll share it with Petey. Me and Petey were both right. We were getting ridiculed yesterday, me and Matthew Peterson, about our take on home run derby bringing a glove. Did Harrison agree with you?
I think it was a consensus by the end of like when we showed up, because the guy sitting next to us had a glove, and we were like, I'm going to be honest, you're not getting the ball. Like, it's not happening. But, again, it's a home run derby, and some of those, man, they're hit so hard. Like, so hard. And it's not only that, and this is what I hate about the home run derby, you can't enjoy the home run, because by the time that it gets hit, it's up in the air. The guy's already getting ready to hit another. So that's also, like, it's super dangerous. Like, there was, like, one point last night, it was electric, but it was, like, the dude hit 3 home runs in about a 10-second span, and they were all, like, really close to each other. So, you imagine, like, you see a ball coming in, and, like, you're going to track that one. Well, then if there's another ball coming in, and you don't see it, and you have less than 5 seconds to react.
It's like coming to the same person.
Dude, I do think, like, if you're out there, I also say, like, if you have a kid, I will 100%, and it's going to be extra money, I don't care. You got to figure out a way to get your kid to a home run derby. Get them in the outfield, pay the extra money, because I think it's something
you in the outfield?
It's something you'd remember forever. In the outfield, yes.
See, that's crazy.
They were a lot better, though, too. Like, because I always get worried that they're not going to be, like, able to do it. The kids yesterday, there was actually one kid, and I hope it's on the top 10 plays. I don't know if I saw it, robbed a home run, and nobody even talked about it. One of the kids yesterday during the home run derby robbed the home run. It was like at the warning
Did they count it?
No, he robbed it. Dude brought it back. It was unbelievable.
How old was the kid? Like a teenager?
I don't know.
The walls are pretty high.
I don't think he's over 6. I don't think he's over 15 or 16.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's either a really athletic, like
robbed a homer,
10 or 11-year-old, like uber athletic, or it's like had to be a 14.
To be honest, the best part of the entire home run derby last night was they did the high school. They had the high school home run derby. So they had the top 2 kids come in. They were both lefties, metal bat. And people like don't realize, like if professionals, which they should do the home run derby with metal bats, it would go 550 feet.
How dangerous would that be, though?
Very dangerous. They wouldn't be able to have kids in the outfield.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You'd have to put them in catcher's gear. No, really, you wouldn't be able to have kids out there because and it was crazy because you get these high schoolers out there and they're hitting 430-foot shots, and it's like the ball you can see it's jumping off the bat a lot different compared to wood. And then the next guy who ended up hitting for the pros, he wasn't hitting it as far as like the high schoolers were. But I hated it because they ended in a tie at 5-5, and they just shared the trophy.
The high schoolers?
Yes. It was at like halftime of the the home run derby. But the crowd, when the high schoolers were getting into it, it was probably the most electric that it was the entire time. It was a fun event, but I will figure out a way to go to the outfield.
How was the sound of those metal bats?
Oh, dude, it was sick. Ding! No, not quite like that. You could definitely hear the pop more, though. Like, it was definitely a more noticeable pop.
Yeah.
Again, we were up high. We were on the third base side. We were up pretty high. But it was still a super fun experience, but you got to get into the outfield. That's my objective, is what I'm saying is, before I die, I will go to the outfield of a home run derby with my kid. You got to do it. Got to figure out a way to do it.
Can't Control Live says more pop than a ding.
More pop than a ding. Yep.
That's funny.
Jake, sir, baseball is boring. Sorry, not sorry. I think it depends what you look at. Like, to me, I can watch a baseball game of a really good pitching match, and I can appreciate it. Because, like, I know what goes into it. But I also do think baseball can be very boring sometimes. Home run derby, though, good home run. It's kind of hard to beat. Coming up, let's get into this one right now. We're going to get into a mailbag here on the show. I want you guys to ask me literally anything. Just use hashtag Raiders.
Anything.
Anything. Hashtag Raiders. Coming up right now, it's time to talk Raiders. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up, we got a mailbag. This one was filmed on July 16th when we went live here on the show. And if you want to get your questions and comments, you got to tune in when we go live. Use hashtag Raiders or Super Chat to be featured like my guy Drew did here. Davante to the Jets. Get Aiyuk to the Raiders. Win or loss? I don't know if it's a win or a loss. Now, if you look at it long-term wise, like, yeah, you probably would rather have Brandon Aiyuk than Davante Adams in the long term just because Ayuk's the younger player. But then if I'm Antonio Pierce, I got to worry about this year because if I don't go out and do my best this year, I might not get an opportunity to have next season. And I think Aiyuk is an incredible player, but if you told me who's the better receiver right now, who's the better receiver I think for the next 2-3 years, I'm going to still say it's Davante Adams. So, like, I don't think that this makes any sense. Why would you trade away Davante? Because then you're just going to have to go pay Brandon Aiyuk. So, no, not going to happen. And also, we've already heard the rumors. Brandon Aiyuk might get traded or is requested to be traded. Davante's team has already come out and said that it's not going to happen. Let's go to Slater Raider. Oh, boy. Mitch, your words were, there is smoke, there is fire, and there is a lot of smoke around Tay to the Jets. If a trade happened, when would it happen? So, again, this is like Dan Orlovsky spoke about, he was like, the trade's going to happen today is like what he said. Like, he was basically like, I see the Raiders trading Davante Adams. Then Boomer Esiason said his whole 2 cents about, the Raiders trading Davante before the regular season. And I'm so happy that Schefter came out today when I'm filming this again, July 16th. Statement from Davante Adams' agents, Kenny Chapman and Frank Bauer, regarding the recent trade talks surrounding their client. This is baseless, unfounded speculation, and Davante is expected to be with the Raiders as there has been absolutely no trade talk, period. I will say this, though, and I'm glad Chuggs is going to ask this question because I don't think that Davante gets traded before the season starts. It doesn't make any sense. Now, if a team is like, we'll give you 3 first-round picks, honestly, you probably look into that one, right? But scale it for me from 1 to 100. There's a 1% chance Davante finishes the season with the Raiders. Or there is a 100% chance that Davante finishes the season with the Raiders. For me personally, I'm going to put this one at a 90% chance that Davante finishes this season with the Raiders. And I don't think that you can put it at 100 because there is a chance that the Raiders could be bad this season. There's a chance for all teams that they could be bad. And I do think that the Raiders have to at least keep that idea open of if you're like dumpster fire bad, and I mean really, really bad at the NFL trade deadline November 3rd, and then you got Davante on the books next season for $44 million, the season after that for $44 million. And if you got a team like the New York Jets that goes, hey, I'll give you a first-round pick and then some for Davante, take him off the books, then that's the only way. But I don't think the Raiders are going to be that bad. So you know what? It's probably a 95% chance he finishes the season with the Raiders. What's up, Mando? If the Raiders go 5-11, does Mark fire AP? No, I would say that the only way that you're going to fire AP is if, again, you are really, really, really bad. But I also don't think that you're going to trade Davante in a bad situation, or I also just don't see the Raiders being that bad because of how good this defense truly is. There's no way the quarterback play is going to be worse. The way that the Raiders would fire AP is if they probably win like 3 games, 2 games, and they're just an absolute disgraceful football team. Let's go to Eric M. Do you think Rodgers could be a Raider if it doesn't go well with the Jets this season? I guess anything is possible. Like, I know people made a lot bigger of a deal when Aaron the other day was like on the golf course and he was like, I can't wait to play with Davante again. And I kind of think that he meant more of it from a golf standpoint based on some of the viewings that I have seen. But, like, I don't think Rodgers is going to go anywhere. I think he's going to be locked into New York. The only way that I would say maybe, and again, this is Rodgers just having a lot of power, is if he gets hurt again on that MetLife field, and if Rodgers is just like, you know what, it's the MetLife field, it's not anything else, and I don't want to be a part of this organization, I want to go play with Davante Adams. Let's go to Saul Jordan. Spend the money on a quarterback in 2025. There's going to be some good quarterbacks available to the Raiders, and if you do truly believe that you're a QB away, like, the problem with what you're saying is, though, like, to me, it's Dak Prescott at $60 million. We'll see what happens with Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons. Maybe they decide to go with Penix, but then what? You're going to have to pay Cousins. He's probably going to be on the book somewhere around, $40 million. There's not a lot of great quarterbacks that I'm willing to pay all that money to, and I know a lot of people want to be able to draft somebody, but if you want to go this route, his name's Dak Prescott to me, and I don't know if you have another option behind it. If you want videos every single day, make sure you're subscribed to the Raiders Report. We got content going all day, all long, and we do a lot of different content here at the show. We got new subs popping all the time. We got 76, the bros, Noah, Joel. Seriously, shout out to all of y'all for always tuning into the show and being a part of really helping this thing grow, because the only way that the Raiders Report grows, the only way that we make this show bigger, the only way that the family grows, that our voice gets louder, is for people to take that time and hit that subscribe button. Let's go to Thomas. What's up, man? Do you think there is a quarterback in next year's draft worth trading Davante Adams for? I have no idea. We're still way too far away, right? Like, if I would have said the Raiders should trade Davante Adams for Jaden Daniels, the number 2 overall pick, a lot of people would say that that's crazy, but then again, you know, it would have taken Davante and a whole lot more to go up and get the number 2 pick. I like Cam Ward. I think I've said that multiple times on this show, but like, there could be a quarterback that ends up popping out of nowhere, like a Joe Burrow, like a Jaden Daniels. We'll see what this season brings. The other problem with what you're asking is, like, if the Raiders were to do this, you're probably going to, you know, have to tank and rebuild a little bit, because why am I going to trade my best wide receiver for a young rookie quarterback? I would want my young rookie quarterback to have Davante. Now, man, what's up, man? Why was the Christmas Day game not shown? So you're talking about the Netflix show Receiver. I'll break this down a little bit more on Thursday during our live show, during our episode 6 review, because there's a very, very, and I mean very obvious reason why the Chiefs' Christmas game was not shown, even though the Raiders won. And I'll tell you what that is when you tune into our show on Thursday. Let's go to my man, Billy Davis. Do Chat Sports got jerseys for kids? We do have jerseys for kids, actually, and we have jerseys for a lot of people out there, all shapes and sizes. If you want one, go to chatsports.com/Raiders jerseys. This link works 365 days out of the year. This year it works 366. Whether you need old school Raiders jerseys, whether you need current jerseys, whether you need, you know, jerseys for your wife, your daughter, babies, like, we got all sorts of different jerseys available, hundreds and hundreds, different deals going down as well. The only way that you're going to be able to find out is if you go to that link, which is going to be available to y'all down in the comments and in the description of today's show. What's up, Juan? Over under on the Raiders, 7.5 wins. I take the over on this one. I have the Raiders winning 9, potentially 10 games this season. I've seen the over under at 6.5, so this one, maybe it's a good thing that we're starting to go up here a little bit. Ernest questions if AOC is 70% passing accurate, good enough to win the chip with the D we got. I think 70% is obviously a great statistic, right? Like, you want your quarterback to have a high completion percentage, but if you're not pushing the ball down the field, and if everything's just short intermediate routes, like, does that do you all that good? Like, you remember a few years ago, Derek had like a 71.4% completion percentage. It was pretty high. I forget what season it was. But, like, again, we weren't pushing the ball down the field. To me, I wouldn't worry so much about the 70%. I would worry more about, like, if he's a 70% completion percentage, somewhere around 4,200 yards, 25 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, then I think that that's like the number that you're looking for us to be able to take that step and accomplish the ultimate goal, which is a Super Bowl. Let's go, Free Smoke. Silver and Black Pride did a 53-man and had the Raiders cutting Trey Taylor. Will he make the team? Yeah, I think Trey Taylor is almost a lock to make the team. I'll have to go check it out. I don't know who they kept, who they didn't keep. I'd be very curious to see who they kept over Trey Taylor. And I know that the Raiders safety group is very deep, but this is a player that they do like a lot, and they like the leadership that he's going to bring. He's going to have a big impact on special teams. But, yeah, I think he's going to end up making this roster here. If you want to meet up with me this Saturday, July 20th at 1 p.m., please make sure you do so. Here's the address. We're going to be meeting up at Matito's. It's a Tex-Mex restaurant owned and operated by a Raider fan. I did an event here a few years ago. It was probably all the way back in 2019. There's a chance Alex might be there. There's a chance Chuggs might be there as well. We'll kind of see. But, I just want to have some food, want to have some drinks. I've already been told by a bunch of Raider fans that they're going to be there. It's going to be a good time. It's a good meetup right before the season kind of gets underway. And we'll be able to share some laughs, take some pics, and I'll share some of the cool stories, memories that we had on the show. Let's go to Peter. Besides the Raiders, what team do you think is going to the playoffs from the AFC besides the Raiders? All right, Peter. I'm going to put the Chiefs in there. You can't discount the Chiefs. They're back-to-back Super Bowl champs. I think the Bengals, if Burrow's able to stay healthy, the Ravens, if Lamar's able to stay healthy, he's got to be in there. The Jets are going to be an intriguing team if Rodgers is able to stay healthy. The Houston Texans, to me, are the top team in their division. The Jags could be an intriguing battle to watch. The Pittsburgh Steelers, depending on how good Russell Wilson is. The Buffalo Bills, you can't really discredit. Like, the AFC from top to bottom is absolutely loaded. Miami's an intriguing team. A lot of good competition, man. Let's go to Paul. Najee Harris to the Raiders next year. I'm kind of good on that. Like, I think Najee's he's a better Trent Richardson. You know what I mean? Like, he was a good running back at Alabama, had a lot of talent around him. Then he goes to the NFL, and he's not nearly as good as what you thought he was. He doesn't have very good vision either, kind of a slow player. Like, to me, if I'm Las Vegas, if Najee's available, sure, you can give him an offer, but he's going to want way more money than what he's worth. RJ, Brandon Aiyuk might go to the Chargers. Yahoo said that. Until Yahoo proves to me that they have credible sources, like if it comes from Schefter, if it comes from Rappaport, sure. I'm a believer that this is going to be a dude that ends up either landing with the Washington Commanders with his buddy Jaden Daniels, or, he's going to end up going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Those seem to be the top two teams most linked to Brandon Aiyuk. Also, I think another interesting part about the Commanders is their new GM, Adam Peters. He was with San Francisco last season, so there is a little bit of a connection there. He wants to get paid. Like, to me, if you were to ask Brandon, would you rather make 30-something million or would you rather win football games? He wants to get paid more than he wants to win. Like, and, maybe that's an unfair thing to say because I don't blame him for want to get the bag. He deserves to get paid. He's one of the best receivers in football. But, like, he's also on one of the best football teams. So let me know down below, where will Aiyuk play in 2024? I know some of y'all want me to say the Raiders, but I think it's Commanders, Steelers, and then it's the 49ers are the top three teams. Noah, what is the ideal quarterback for our team, and who is the closest, most realistic player we can get to match that quarterback? I mean, there's nobody that's really available right now that we can do anything with. Like, you're not going to trade for anybody now. You're not going to sign anybody. In terms of right now, you're going to go with Aiden, you're going to go with Gardner. If you're talking about next season, if Aiden or Gardner get you to the playoffs, you roll with one of those guys again. If one of those guys doesn't get you to the playoffs and, quarterback's your Achilles heel, you probably got to look at Dak, man. And I know you don't like hearing it, but you're probably going to have to look at Dak or figure out a way to draft a QB. Raider for life, is there a big player like Aiyuk we can trade for? I would say the most realistic trade partner. Now, I actually did a video a few days ago around blockbuster trades. If you want to go check it out, you can. I'll say one of the names, James Bradbury's a name, which doesn't inspire a lot of people, but he does have a connection with Patrick Graham. I broke down a Marshawn Lattimore trade, though that one was a little bit more due to the NFL trade deadline. Another trade that might happen if it happened right now for the Raiders, I'll say Matthew Judon from the New England Patriots, edge rusher, 32 years old. Has had some issues right now with New England, has been on the trade market, and the Raiders could use another defensive end because him or Janarius Robinson. I'm going to take Matthew Judon. Michael, PFF recently ranked the Raiders the 19th ranked offensive line. Last year, they were arguably top 10. Thoughts? You got a brand new offensive line coach in James Craig, so we'll kind of see how that whole thing shakes out. You also lost Jermaine Illuminor, which was a big loss. It's also PFF, so you have to consider the fact that Greg Van Roten, according to PFF, was the 7th best guard out of all the guards in the NFL. So to them, they had Jermaine ranked pretty high. They also had Greg Van Roten ranked pretty high. So now you got a brand new rookie in Jackson Powers-Johnson. You got a brand new offensive line coach in James Craig compared to Carmen Brasillo. You got a brand new right tackle in Thayer Munford. And, Colt Miller battled some injuries last season. I think the Raiders are a lot better than 19th, but I also can't really blame PFF based on everything that I just said there. Noah, is there a chance we go for Fields, and how much, if any, of an upgrade would that be? Until I see positive reports around Justin Fields, I don't really see why the Raiders would do it. And also, we had our opportunity to go get Fields this offseason. It just didn't happen. I want to just see what Aiden can do. I want to see what Gardner can do. And now, if Aiden and Gardner are both just a disaster and Russell Wilson is really good at quarterback and they're like, hey, there's just no chance Justin could go play for us here, then maybe they'd be willing to trade him away. And because they traded him for what they did, maybe it costs you a 4th, 5th round pick. You go get Justin Fields. But I don't know. We already saw Justin Fields with Luke Getsy, and it's not really all that pretty. If you wanted to follow me on IG, I would greatly appreciate it, especially if I didn't get to your questions today. We're going to do our best to answer all the questions we possibly can this offseason, just what we do. I also try to keep you guys up to date with the latest news, rumors going on around the silver and black. And if anybody wants to try to battle Chuggs on Thursday, don't only just hit him up at JewEagle96. Make sure you also hit him up on Twitter at Jeremy Chuggs. What an unbelievable name. I kind of want you to change your Twitter handle.
To JewEagle96?
I
don't think they're ready for it.
I don't think anybody is.
That picture you sent me yesterday?
Oh, dude, you like that?
Hilarious.
Well, it was fun.
Did you do that at the park?
Yeah. Well, the best part about it was I was doing that at my seat. And, where we were sitting, we were obviously close to a lot of people. So I can only imagine what the person was looking at when they're like, why is this guy Googling Eagles? Now he's Googling yarmulkes. What is happening here? Yeah, dude, the guy sitting next to me was an interesting dude.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was, technically he was sitting next to Sperry, but Sperry got up to go get his pina colada and had the empty seat. So this guy's right here. Sperry's sipping pina coladas at a baseball game. I know. True story.
Oh, my God.
And he's got a glove. And he's like a 50-year-old guy, and he's like, he's got his hand in his glove, and he keeps going like this. He's like, hit one up here. And for context, we are we're between home plate and third base.
Yeah, I was about to say, Brett said y'all were behind third.
3 rows up. So for somebody, and the guy was a righty.
3 rows up,
we're
from
in
the field?
We're in the nosebleeds.
Oh.
Nosebleed, so the section 300s. If you hit a baseball right here, right? If you make contact, right, you're a hitter, and you make contact with the ball right about there, you're hitting that ball left field. For a guy to hit it to us, he would have had to make contact legitimately, fully extended, hit it behind him. Not possible. Not possible.
Were there any open seats? Why didn't he just go try to...
You couldn't really go in the outfield.
In those seats over there?
Yeah, so when I'll admit, when Garcia came up, I was like, this guy might be able to hit a few moon shots if he's juiced up, So I go into left field, and there was a walking area. So the furthest home run that we saw yesterday was 473. If somebody would have been able to crank one 490, it would have hit in the area that I was. So I was like, if there's one guy that maybe can do it, it's Garcia. Can he muscle it up? And he sucked. I went to that area out there, and I was like, couldn't get anything. Is what it is, though. It was fun. It was still fun. All right, final call here to get in our 50-50 raffle. It's a $20 Venmo for a chance to win. As it stands right now, you would win $70. And you know what? Richie Renz, my dad, getting in the action here.
Oh, yeah.
My dad is in. So now it's 20 to win 80 if anybody thinks that they can take out the DOP. I don't know if it's going to happen. Would you do a bat bong? What does that mean, Yoda?
I think the bat that you're holding.
On Thursday? Yeah, we're going to do some bat bongs. Now, if we turn this into a shit show, which we're 3 bangs away today, then, yeah, we're just going to start throwing them in there and knocking them back. My goal on Thursday is every time somebody bangs, I'm going to see how many home runs we can hit.
Trace is talking shit.
With what?
With you.
I don't know why. That's all Trace does anymore. Oh, yeah, he's doing a lot of talking.
I'm telling you, we got to get him next Monday.
For the Raiders-Saints game? Okay. I'm in. As long as you're okay with it. I don't want you to be upset.
I think it would be more fun for you if it was you and
Me and
Trace.
Triz? Probably. I wonder if he could. I mean, he might be able to save the. What if we even did something like if you. Nah, I was gonna say if you produce and we both just did it, but I don't know where he's at in his Madden Sim season. Maybe it doesn't make sense. It's all good. Manuel Luna, you sir are also in. Manuel Luna, you in? I'll refresh my phone one more time.
He's gonna probably have to run like 20 sims for the Saints to win. So
that's true. I mean, they're like 9-1 for him. Something just ridiculous. Chad Copeland, you in? So now we're up to 100 for the winner.
Chatty Daddy.
Chatty Daddy. Chatty Daddy. All right, Chuggs, I'm going to send you this list right now. Real quick. You want it on TV?
Yes, sir.
So I got Patrick Rose, Jason Goots, Charles G., Jamari Murray, 2 Navmans, a Rustin Long, my dad, Manuel Luna, Chad Copeland. Hopefully I pronounced that right, Chad. Those are the people that are in this duck race, so we're going to run this one right now. Again, to the people that sent in that 20, if you want to join our Zoom call tomorrow, it's going to be 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I will send you an invite. Okay? I will send you an invite. I need your email. That's all. And then Thursday, Jeremy and I, we're going to be live at noon Eastern Time. We're going to be live for about 6 hours that day. 6 hours of Thursday happy hour.
Stump the Schwab.
I hope you guys are ready. It's going to be a wet and wild show.
Stump the Schwab.
All right, so this is a creature race. I don't even know what this would be. This is horrifying.
No more?
The what?
No more, we're good?
I don't have any more. I refresh one more time. I'll double check. And we're good. Here we go. Winner gets $100. 3, 2, 1, run it. I mean, Chad right now is... Honestly, if I saw all these creatures, I probably would bet on Chad.
Which one would be the scariest for you? Michael or Manuel Lua.
I was just going to say, I don't know what Manuel is. That's horrifying. Navman wouldn't bother me all that much.
Navman and Richie look like they're brothers.
Maybe they are. I mean, they act like each other. To be honest, Jamari looks like he's that that South Park episode where there's like weird furry friends or just pop out of nowhere. Murray would freak me out a little bit.
Goots.
The person I would want to meet is Patrick. To be able to see a T-Rex live, that'd be sick.
But what dinosaur is that Navman's?
That's a Godzilla. That's not even a dinosaur. Though Charles G's an interesting spot.
Chad.
I think it's Chad, or I think it's going to be this T-Rex down. Oh, my God. Manuel, you can have it, bro. Get out of here.
He's teabagging you.
He is. This is an aggressive teabag right there. Navman's devastated. Jamari's not happy about it either. I'm not going to lie. I don't know what Manuel Luna is. I'm just happy that's a tail. That's all I'm saying. Manuel Luna, who was the last one to get in, by the way. You just won $100. Congrats to you, man. If you could please confirm with me down below that you received $100, that would be much appreciated.
Your dad got last.
Oh, Richie. Richie's had enough butthole picks in his day, but I'll send him another one. Oh, I got some people that want to be friends, and we are good. Okay, y'all. Those are the segments that Jeremy and I had. The next time that you're going to see us is going to be on Thursday, noon Eastern time. If anybody wants to challenge Jeremy live on the show, if you enjoy our Madden Sims, you're going to get an opportunity to play Jeremy on PS5 live here on the Raiders Report. We're going to commentate. I'm going to commentate. You guys are just going to play. Adam, Jew Eagle 96. We'll pick a few random people that are going to be able to play the game. You got to be watching, obviously, the show when it goes down. And he doesn't think he's going to lose. So if you end up beating him, I'll give you $100.
If I win all the games, steak dinner. Gives me incentive.
Do I get to pick where the steak dinner is?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll pick. Maybe.
The bloomin' onion.
Dude, Bloomin' Onion right now sounds absolutely gas.
All right, boys.
All right, y'all. I'll see you guys Thursday. Have a good rest of your Tuesday. If anything else crazy happens around the Raiders or on the NFL, we'll do our best here to keep you updated. I'm really, really happy, though. All the Davante Adams trade rumors hopefully have officially ended.